Chapter 266. Chapter 266, Crazy Discount, 99% off. Qin Feng walked out of the store. Lin Shuai laughed so hard that he was squatting on the ground. Rao Sherman had a stiff expression on her charming face and looked like she wanted to leave at any moment. Outside the store, Qin Feng's furious expression was already normal again. He looked completely calm, as if nothing had happened. He pulled out his phone and scrolled through his contacts. He found the Gold and Silver Building's property manager, Wang Ming, and called him. Royal Group's most important business was in real estate. Acropolis City's commercial streets and its busy shopping centers were all held by Royal Group. This was Acropolis City's iconic international shopping building, so naturally it was Royal Group's property. "Why, young Master Qin?" The call was answered, and a nervous voice came through the phone. As the Gold and Silver Building's property manager, he was a person of some consequence, and he very seldom sounded so servile. However, it was young Master Qin calling. 3 years ago, Wang Ming had the honor of meeting Qin Feng at one of the banquets for the rich and powerful, so he had his number saved. However, in these 3 years, it was his first time receiving a call from young Master Qin. His little heart was about to jump out of his throat. "Manager Wang, I have a request." Qin Feng cut to the chase. "Young Master Qin, please speak. I'm currently strolling through the Prada store in the Gold and Silver Building. I want all the sale prices in this store to lose their last 2 numbers. Contact Prada's owner right now and have it done as soon as possible," Qin Feng ordered. "Okay, I'll get it done within a minute, young Master Qin." After hanging up, Qin Feng stood at the entrance for a minute and admired the long-legged beauties that came and went. When he saw that it was about time, he walked into the store with a smile. "Haha, Group Leader Qin, you're finally back. What did your friend in the Bureau of Industry and Commerce say? Are they going to immediately come over and seal up this store? I really didn't think Group Leader Qin would know someone in the Bureau of Industry and Commerce. How enviable." Qin Feng had lingered outside for 2 minutes, yet Lin Shuai still couldn't contain his laughter. The beautiful store manager thought Qin Feng had found an excuse to slip away. Seeing that he had the guts to return, she now looked at him with disdain. "Idiot Lin, don't be jealous. There's no point in being jealous because your network and financial resources will never be comparable to mine. I've already made the call. My friend is currently handling it." Qin Feng had a calm smile. He turned to Rao Sherman and said, "Sherman, the prices of the merchandise in this store are going to fall in a bit. Choose whatever you like and put it on my tab. Consider them my presents to you." Lin Shuai saw Qin Feng acting very confidently, so he began to suspect that Qin Feng's head had been kicked by a donkey when Qin Feng was little, and the effects were now manifesting. Rao Sherman pursed her lips at Qin Feng and didn't believe his words either. "Store manager, there's a call for you." The store manager was about to open her mouth to take a jab at Qin Feng when she was suddenly called away. She hadn't even been gone for half a minute when she rushed back urgently. She was gone for a mere 30 seconds, but the beautiful store manager had undergone a complete change. Her previously disdainful and arrogant attitude disappeared. She walked up to Qin Feng with a lowered head like a little kid who had done something wrong. Beads of sweat gathered closely on her forehead, and her straight legs began to tremble slightly. In that half-minute, Prada's chairman, who'd personally called, angrily reprimanded her. The chairman's words could be summed up as, "Fulfill all of Mr. Qin's requests and make him 10,000% satisfied. Otherwise, you can pack up and leave. And may I ask if you are Mr. Qin?" The beautiful store manager raised her head to look at Qin Feng, her gaze filled with trepidation and reverence. "My family name is Qin, but I don't know if I'm the Mr. Qin you speak of." Qin Feng knew Wang Ming had taken care of everything when he saw the change in the store manager. The beautiful store manager wasn't stupid. Qin Feng's family name was Qin, and the situation had changed this way after he went outside and made a call. Thus, the contemptible youth before her was clearly the Mr. Qin the old chairman spoke of. When the beautiful store manager thought about how she almost offended such an important person, she almost kneeled on the floor and cried while begging for mercy. "How do you do, Mr. Qin? May I ask what you need? Just tell me, and I'll give my all to satisfy you. Rao Sherman and Lin Shuai also saw the change in the beautiful store manager. Rao Sherman's expression altered slightly, and she looked at Qin Feng with interest as she waited to see how the situation would progress. Lin Shuai's mocking laughter stopped completely. He'd fought with Qin Feng a fair number of times, and a bad premonition suddenly stirred in his heart. I don't have any special requests. I just hope the things in your store could be cheaper. Just take out the 2 numbers off the end. Otherwise, I won't buy anything from your store, said Qin Feng with the courage of his convictions. If these words were spoken before Qin Feng made his call, or if a normal person said it, the store manager would secretly look at them with disdain. Lin Shuai would guffaw uproariously, and Rao Sherman would be unhappy. But when Qin Feng said those words again, no one dared to laugh at him. The beautiful store manager even smiled and bowed reverently at a 90-degree angle and said, Mr. Qin, I remember your request. From now on, you, young Master Qin, have full benefits at Acropolis City's 2 Prada branch stores and this main store in the Gold and Silver building. All of the items in the store will lose 2 digits, and Mr. Qin, you can choose whatever you please. Rao Sherman and Lin Shuai were stunned by the beautiful store manager's words. In particular, Lin Shuai's smiling lips twitched. His eyes were about to fall out, and he began to wonder if his ears had gone bad. Otherwise, how could he have heard those fantastical words? All 3 Prada stores in Acropolis would lose 2 digits off their prices. Was it April Fool's Day? That price wasn't even enough to cover the manufacturing cost. Lin Shuai could believe that Qin Feng really knew someone from the Bureau of Industry and Commerce, and that he found someone to lower the prices in the Prada store, but no matter whom he knew, 10 or 22% off was already giving you a lot of face. Now, they took away 2 digits off the prices. That was fucking 99% off. Beauty, is there some sort of event today? Is your store having a sale due to the change in seasons? Lin Shuai couldn't suppress his curiosity and asked the store manager. Without waiting for the store manager to open her mouth, Qin Feng smiled and said, Idiot Lin, you still don't know? When I walked into the store, I got notification that because the Prada store is getting renovated, they have a promotion where everything in the store is 99% off. You really think I'm so dumb that I didn't even know about this kind of international luxury goods store? You think I'd intentionally slap my own face by buying that bag for $599 to make you happy? Lin Shuai's expression became suspicious. He looked at the store manager. Is what he said true? The store is really 99% off today? The beautiful store manager nodded without hesitation. She'd the chairman's words into her heart and had to fulfill all of Mr. Qin's requests. That's right, this is insider information. Only advanced members that are holders of our Prada membership card for over 2 years were notified. The goal is to give back to our old clients. In a couple of days, when the old clients are done buying the products in the store, the remaining items would be sold to the general public for low prices. Lin Shuai was stunned, and Rao Sherman looked suspicious. They still had trouble believing these words. Then, if I didn't have your Prada membership card before, can I enjoy your 99% off promotion? Lin Shuai became excited. If he could also get 99% off, he would definitely go on a mad shopping spree. The beautiful sales manager was in no hurry to reply to Lin Shuai. She looked at Qin Feng for assistance. Ahem. How about this? This idiot Lin is considered half a friend of mine. So why don't you give me some face and make an exception by giving him the 99% discount? At the same time, this idiot friend of mine will announce Prada's current promotion. It'll be marketing for your store. Okay, since Mr. Qin said so, of course we agree, said the beautiful sales manager with a prompt smile. Store manager, I already shared it with my friend group. See if my advertising is all right. After Qin Feng spoke, Lin Shuai showed the beautiful sales manager his phone. The store manager glanced over carelessly, then nodded and said, Okay, that works. Mr. Qin, do you also want to give this lady the 99% discount as well? The beautiful store manager's attitude toward Qin Feng earlier was not good. At this time, she was afraid Qin Feng would hold a grudge against her, so she took every chance she could to curry favor with Qin Feng. There's no need for that. Take whatever you like, Rao Sherman, and put it on my tab. Qin Feng laughed as he walked up to Rao Sherman and picked up the 59,998 yuan bag that she wanted him to buy. He tossed it grandly at the beautiful sales manager. Miss Sherman has taken a liking to this. Wrap it up for me. Sherman, take whatever else you like. What kind of relationship do we have? Don't be reserved with me. Qin Feng smiled as he looked at Rao Sherman's refined and charming face and extended his hand to place it on her shoulder. Rao Sherman dodged his hand and glared at Qin Feng. She found that it wasn't easy to teach this scoundrel a lesson. Keep your dirty paws away from me. I have no relationship with you whatsoever. After discovering that Prada had a 99% off promotion, Rao Sherman began to choose more items. Qin Feng stuck by her and even gave her the occasional suggestion. Though Rao Sherman complained that Qin Feng's recommendations were all too crude and tasteless, she ended up choosing the items he suggested. As a famous celebrity, Rao Sherman usually didn't have time to shop. Now that she had the rare opportunity to go on a mad shopping spree, buying lots of things was reasonable. On the other hand, Lin Shuai neglected his image and held a large basket. He looked like he was buying instant noodles at a supermarket. When he saw something, he tossed it into his basket. In 5 short minutes, his large basket was full. Earlier, Lin Shuai ridiculed and mockingly laughed at Qin Feng for treating this luxury goods store as a general market, but he now looked like an elderly woman crazily buying things. That's about enough. Over 10 items are enough to make you spend a lot. Rao Sherman chose for half an hour. In the end, she blinked at Qin Feng. She looked mischievous, cute, youthful, and energetic, making Qin Feng want to lift her charming face and kiss it. These items really aren't cheap. Altogether, they're almost 10,000. This would deplete over a month of my pay. Qin Feng was aware of Rao Sherman's intent. This little girl was angry at him and wanted to teach him a lesson by bleeding him dry. Haha, see if you have the guts to get fresh with me again. When Rao Sherman saw Qin Feng's anxious expression, she waved her little, soft pink fist with a self-satisfied expression. Sherman, look, I saved 2 months of food money for you. Why don't you go to my room tonight, and we'll sit facing one another cross-legged. Then, if you don't want to buy these things for me, you don't need to put them back in their spots. There's still an idiot that wants to buy them for me. Rao Sherman glared coldly at Qin Feng and strangled his vulgar intentions in the cradle. Chapter 267. Chapter 267. I'll forever quit the friend group. Miss Sherman, were you calling for me? It'll be my pleasure to buy all of these for you. I'll buy you anything you like. After he had finished his shopping, Lin Shuai walked to Qin Feng and Rao Sherman. When he seemingly overheard Rao Sherman talking about him, he felt flattered. Seems like I'm still as good-looking as ever. Even a superstar would discuss me behind my back. Well, since Idiot Lin is so rich, we'll let you pick up the tab then. As Qin Feng spoke, he smiled at Lin Shuai. Rao Sherman's expression sank slightly. She accepted Qin Feng's offer to pay for her because she wanted to punish him, but she didn't want Lin Shuai to pay for her. She absolutely had no feeling toward him. Fine, fine. Put all of Miss Sherman's items on my tab. Store manager, help us ring everything up and give me the bill. I'll pay by card. Without waiting for Rao Sherman's rejection, Lin Shuai triumphantly pulled out his bank card and handed it to the beautiful store manager. After all, everything in this store was 99% off today, and it would cost him 50,000 to 60,000 yuan at most even if they bought it all. Lin Shuai still wasn't daunted by this amount. The beautiful store manager accepted Lin Shuai's bank card, but she didn't rush over to ring up their purchases. She looked at Qin Feng and awaited for his instructions. Today Idiot Lin will pay for everything we're buying. Now, ring everything up and follow what we said just now. If this person advertises your store's offer in his friend group once, then he'll be eligible for 99% off on one of his selections. The rest will be counted as usual. After all, our Idiot Lin is an elite that studied abroad. Money is the only thing that he'll never lack. Qin Feng smiled lightly. The beautiful store manager soon understood Qin Feng's intention. She'd realized much earlier, Lin Shuai and Qin Feng didn't get along well. So, how could Qin Feng possibly go easy on that idiot? Mr. Qin, I'll total the bill now. Don't worry. I'll calculate it thoroughly and not a penny less. The beautiful store manager pushed 3 shopping carts to the counter to scan the items' codes. Lin Shuai was left dumbfounded, and his brain turned into mush. Why do Qin Feng's words sound a little bit off? He thought to himself. With the help and cooperation of 3 staffers and 3 code scanners, they rang up the bill of Qin Feng's group very soon. The beautiful store manager was satisfied with the figure. She took Lin Shuai's bank card and walked to him with a smile on her face. Mister, I'm sorry, your bank card's balance is insufficient. Do you want to use another card, or do you want to pay by cash instead? Insufficient? How could it be not enough? Did you guys do something wrong? Lin Shuai thought the store manager had completed the transaction and come to return his card. He was getting on his high horse, wanting to boast in front of Qin Feng, and all of a sudden, the store manager said his bank card's balance was insufficient. Lin Shuai was stupefied and felt terrible now. This bank card had 100,000 yuan deposited on it. How could it be not enough? I'm sorry, we've tried the card 3 times. The balance of the card is really insufficient and our POS machine has no problem at all, the beautiful store manager replied with a smile. Lin Shuai's countenance changed drastically. He'd already felt weird about what Qin Feng had said, and then he noticed his card balance was insufficient. Now he was nervous and highly strung. How much is the bill? Lin Shuai asked as his heart pounded with fear, a gush of bad feeling suddenly flaring there. Mister, the total cost is 1,532,080 yuan. Seeing that you're a friend of Mr. Qin, I, as the store manager, have removed 2,080 yuan from the end for you. So the total charge will be 1,530,000 yuan. 1.53 million yuan. After he heard the numbers from the beautiful store manager, Lin Shuai felt like he'd been struck by a bolt of lightning, followed by endless waves of muffled thunder roaring in his head. He was so frightened that he almost collapsed. How much did you say? 1,530,000 yuan? Did you make a mistake somewhere and report one more zero? Lin Shuai's face was pale white and beads of sweat started to form on his forehead. Even if the total expense for today was 153,000 yuan, it would still exceed his budget threefold, let alone a 1,530,000 yuan. Are they asking me to sell my kidney overseas? Mister, please don't play a joke with us. Since you're a friend of Mr. Qin, I believe that 1,530,000 yuan is just a mere figure for you. How about you try again with another card? Or would you like to pay by check instead? It's all up to you. How could the beautiful store manager not see through Lin Shuai's embarrassment? She was certain that Lin Shuai couldn't pay the 1,530,000 yuan. She was just playing along with Qin Feng. Please wait for a moment. Didn't you mention that all the items in this store are 99% off? I had a rough figure when I was choosing my stuff. All my items will only cost me 30,000 yuan. Even with Miss Sherman's items, the most is only 100,000 yuan. Why and how did it become 1,530,000 yuan when you calculated it? When Lin Shuai heard the report from store manager, he'd been so shocked by the figure that his brain stopped functioning. Now that he'd calmed down, no matter how many times he calculated the bill, it would never add up to 1,500,000 yuan. It made no sense whatsoever. Mister, I think you misunderstood me. The beautiful store manager had received the order from Qin Feng. Now, she explained unhurriedly with a smile on her face, what I said was, Mr. Qin can enjoy the privilege of 99% off on every item in this store, and Mr. Qin has no limitation on the purchase number. But, Mister, you actually do not have the privilege to enjoy this offer. You only have the offer of 99% off on a single item after Mr. Qin opened the way for you. As for the other extra items, their prices will be the usual. What the fuck? I only have 99% off on one item, and the rest will be the original price. Lin Shuai was dumbstruck. If he'd known earlier, he would never have stepped forward to pay for Rao Sherman. This was simply because he didn't have that much money to be pretentious. You're right, mister. But Mr. Qin treated you as his good friend. He suggested that every time you promoted our Prada store in your friend group, you'll have 99% off on an extra item. We'd never give this kind of privilege to other customers. But today, we're giving face to Mr. Qin and we, the Prada main store in Acropolis City, allow you to use this privilege. The beautiful store manager had a smile on her face from beginning to end. It was just that Lin Shuai felt that smile of hers was asking to be punched. This person had her mouth full of Mr. Qin. Mr. Qin has said, give face to Mr. Qin. You as Mr. Qin's friend. All those words were in fact elevating Qin Feng and belittling him. As a guy who had been living above everyone else, envied and followed by others, now that he had to see Qin Feng's face and benefit from him to purchase an item, Lin Shuai was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. But since things had come this far, Lin Shuai could only endure his discontent. This was simply because he didn't have the 1,500,000 yuan to cover the bill. He cursed the 18 generations of Qin Feng's ancestors in his heart. At the same time, he put a smile on his face and said to Qin Feng, Group Leader Qin, I never expected you to have such a large network in Acropolis City. Then I'll share a few more messages to my friend group now. You better say it properly to the store manager. Every time I share, I'll have another 99% off on an extra item. Qin Feng was unreliable. That was what Lin Shuai had always thought. He had to reconfirm with Qin Feng and the store manager so that they wouldn't play any tricks on him. Don't worry. Qin Feng never lies and I never go back on my word. Qin Feng replied with a smile. Don't worry, mister. I assure you, as the store manager, every time you share in your friend group, I'll give you another 99% off on one of your items. Seeing that Qin Feng and the beautiful store manager had made their stand, Lin Shuai wasn't afraid of being cheated anymore. It's not a big deal. I just need to share in my friend group. Moreover, they'll be thanking me for sharing this type of good deal with them. Lin Shuai gleefully pulled out his cell phone and hastily opened his WeChat friend group. He was going to copy the previous post and share it 50 times in one shot. However, when he opened his friend group, he was stunned. Soon, an agonized expression, like he'd eaten dung, appeared on his face. Idiot Lin, you have the nerve to share the silly news of Prada store having a 99% off in the friend group? Do you think everyone is as idiotic as you? People below me, maintain the formation. Idiot Lin, you have the nerve to share the silly news of Prada store having a 99% off in the friend group? Do you think everyone is as idiotic as you? People below me, maintain the formation. In less than an hour, the news of Prada having a 99% off sale on all items had gone viral. Now it already had more than 100 likes and more than 70 comments. In the comments, more than 40 people were employees of Royal Group Sales Department. The rest was either Lin Shuai's close friends, his seniors at work, and various friends with benefits that he'd hooked up with at bars. Those people gave the same comments regardless of their relationship. The moment he saw these unanimous comments, Lin Shuai had the urge to delete his WeChat and never ever touch this thing again. Mister, how about I add you as a friend in WeChat as well? By doing this, I'll be able to count the numbers of shares and give you the 99% discount based on the same numbers. The beautiful store manager saw Lin Shuai staring dazedly at his cell phone for quite a long time and acting like his soul had been reaped. She couldn't resist and reminded him again. Oh, that will be fine, Lin Shuai regained his senses, but he was still stunned and couldn't speak fluently. Mister, what do you mean by this? You're not going to share in your friend group anymore? Then I'll follow the usual price, 1,530,000 yuan and ring everything up for you. Don't, please don't close the sale yet. I suddenly remembered that I just bought a lot from the Prada branch in Beihou last week. I'm not going to buy that much today. It'll be useless for me anyway. Please wait for a while. I need to check which items are duplicates. Lin Shuai felt like he'd eaten a mouthful of flies. The feeling of gloom, anger, and disgust was stuck in his throat. He couldn't spit it out nor gulp it down. It was so much suffering. He ignored the disdainful looks from both the beautiful store manager and Rao Sherman. He rushed to the pile of items and took almost all his purchases out of the carts. After he saw the comments in his friend group, he'd rather be beaten to death than share the news of Prada having 99% off again. If he did, then he would be a total idiot in everybody's eyes. Miss Sherman, you see, don't you think your purchases are a little bit too much? We'll be going to another place later. It will not be an easy task to carry all these around. How about you take some of your items out? I think it'll be sufficient if you keep one or two. Lin Shuai looked at Rao Sherman gingerly. He felt he hadn't lost so much face in his entire life. However, in front of 153,000 yuan, which was a huge sum of money, Lin Shuai was willing to cast away his morals and face. Chapter 268. Chapter 268, Destined to have the life of a servant today. Don't touch my stuff. I didn't say I wanted you to pay for me, so don't delude yourself. I'll pay for myself. A wintry air shot out of Rao Sherman. This time, she was actually a bit angry. When this Lin Shuai acted pretentious and said he wanted to pay earlier, Rao Sherman thought he was an eyesore. Now that he didn't have enough money and couldn't continue acting, he even had the audacity to put the things she painstakingly selected back. Rao Sherman had never seen such a shameless man. He plainly sucked. Don't be mad, Sherman. I'll buy your things for you. As an honored guest who came to visit Acropolis, how could you pay? Just then, Qin Feng immediately arrived beside Rao Sherman and lightly rubbed her back. Rao Sherman was just getting started and didn't notice Qin Feng's actions. She looked indifferently at Qin Feng. I don't want you to buy them for me, either. I want to buy them myself. Though Rao Sherman possessed the halo of an A-list celebrity, she was only a 20-year-old girl. When she got mad, she was like a headstrong little girl. Qin Feng had the urge to kiss her stubborn lips when he saw how she looked. When Qin Feng found that Rao Sherman didn't notice his actions, he seized the opportunity to hug her lightly. He said gently, Sherman, you're so enchanting when you act cute. Taking everything into account, I'll buy all your things for you. If you refuse, I won't help you get in contact with or meet young Master Qin. You dare? If you don't arrange for us to meet, I won't ever speak to you again. Rao Sherman's little lips pouted more. She currently only cared about meeting young Master Qin and didn't even notice that she was in Qin Feng's arms. Qin Feng's heartbeat increased as he hugged Rao Sherman's soft body. This was an extremely rare occurrence for a playboy like him. Rao Sherman's expression was extremely cute, and her body exuded an air of endless youthfulness and a slight taste of sunshine. This air and taste seemed contagious, and it made Qin Feng feel 10 years younger. With the blink of an eye, time stopped, and his memories drifted back 8 years. A sunny September day by a lotus pond. At the time, Qin Feng wrapped that little beauty in his embrace from the side the same way. Then, he slowly extended his other hand and wrapped her completely in his embrace. There was an air of youth and a taste of sunshine. It felt both familiar and very distant. Qin Feng, what are you doing? You stinking brat? Let go of me this instant. Qin Feng's mind was filled with the extreme beauty of sunshine, lotuses, and a pond, when it was all shattered by a pleasant shriek. He looked down angrily at the Rao Sherman in his embrace. He was instantly and greatly shocked. When had he wrapped this woman so tightly in his embrace? Misunderstanding. Sherman, this is all a misunderstanding, said Qin Feng with a smile as he immediately released Rao Sherman. Does it look like I believe you? Rao Sherman glared icily at Qin Feng. She didn't give Qin Feng a big slap or end his family line because when Qin Feng hugged her, she'd felt a sense of familiarity. She'd even basked in the feeling for a couple of seconds. Though Rao Sherman was angry on the outside, she felt a little embarrassed on the inside. How could she have lost her senses in a man's arms? And most importantly, a man as vulgar as Qin Feng. All right, let the salesperson ring everything up. I want to go eat. Rao Sherman glared at Qin Feng and sat on the sofa to one side while seething. Qin Feng's lips quirked. This meant Rao Sherman agreed to let him buy the things for her. Though he hadn't interacted with Rao Sherman for long, he could be certain that a woman like her wouldn't readily let a man pay for her. With that said, did she take a liking to him? Did he want to look for her at night to chat and sit cross-legged while their gazes interlocked? As Qin Feng's mind swirled with crazy thoughts, the beautiful store manager finished ringing everything up and walked over with a smile. Mr. Qin, this is your receipt. The total is 23,888 yuan. I took off 3,888 for you, so the total is 20,000. Is this satisfactory? The beautiful store manager carefully reported the price, then peeked at Qin Feng to see if there was any change in his expression. With a slight furrow of the eyebrow from Qin Feng, she would immediately amend the price and drop it by half, or even make it completely free. All right, then we'll settle with this price. Qin Feng extended a cash card to the beautiful store manager. After receiving the card, the store manager breathed a long sigh of relief. Lin Shuai stood stupidly on one side as he weighed the scene. There were a fair number of times in which he wanted to kill himself. Why was it that if he wanted to buy the things, it would cost 53 million, but Qin Feng only had to spend 20,000? And based on that store manager's attitude, it was clear that if Qin Feng was dissatisfied with the price, it could be even lower. Lin Shuai began to suspect that Qin Feng owned the store. Soon after, the store manager helped complete the transaction and bag everything, then brought the bags up to Qin Feng. Mr. Qin, your items are packed and ready. Give me an address, and I'll have them delivered to you. You don't have to have them sent to the house. Just go downstairs with my driver and put them in the car. Qin Feng pointed at Lin Shuai, who was standing in a stupid daze on one side, and said, "The driver is there. Ask him to take you." The beautiful store manager immediately took the large bags in her hands and walked up to Lin Shuai. "Mr. Driver, please take me to your car, and I'll bring all these items over." Lin Shuai's heart hurt. It really, really hurt. He suddenly realized that ever since he left Royal Group and Qin Feng said he couldn't drive, his fate had been that of a servant. Lin Shuai hadn't left with the beautiful store manager for long when a middle-aged man wearing a suit and leather shoes rushed in, carrying a briefcase. Once the man entered, the salespeople were startled, staring with their mouths agape. They thought something had gone wrong with their eyes. Otherwise, how would they see the owner of this Prada store? "Chief Huang, run in." "How do you do, Chief Huang?" After the salespeople regained their poise, they immediately greeted him. Once Chief Huang entered, he looked around in search of something. Then, he ran up to Qin Feng. Not even bothering to acknowledge the salespeople's greetings, he addressed Qin Feng with a smile filling his face. "Young Master Qin, I didn't know you would grace us with your presence so suddenly today. Please forgive me for not coming out to greet you." Young Master Qin? Sitting at the side, Rao Sherman was suddenly startled when she heard how Chief Huang greeted Qin Feng. She sized up Qin Feng with alarm as if it were her first time meeting him. Qin Feng's face was tinged with awkwardness. He wanted to send this Chief Huang off with a flying kick. "Who let you run in here for no reason?" "Chief Huang, there's no business of yours here. Head back," said Qin Feng indifferently with the wave of his hand. "Young Master Qin, I immediately rushed over here upon receiving Manager Wang's call. Have my employees slighted you? If they've done anything out of hand, I'll dismiss them immediately." Chief Huang's words frightened the salespeople so much that they didn't even have the guts to breathe. They stared at Qin Feng with wide-eyed readiness. No, there's no need to be so worried, Chief Huang. I only came for a stroll with my friend. I didn't want to attract too much attention. Do you understand?" said Qin Feng with a laugh. Chief Huang immediately looked toward Rao Sherman, and his eyes immediately lit up. He always heard that Acropolis City's young Master Qin was dissolute and hedonistic, that every woman that he pulled out had the looks of an A-lister. Now that he saw this personally, he knew it to be true. Young Master Qin, little sister-in-law looks very familiar, like a famous celebrity. That's right, Rao Sherman. Doesn't she look a lot like her?" Chief Huang spoke in an ass-kissing manner. Rao Sherman's and Qin Feng's lips tweed. Neither knew how to respond to this question. "Young Master Qin, since you came to take little sister-in-law out to play and did me the honor of walking into the store of this humble Huang, then I must pay for all your purchases today. Treat this as a present for little sister-in-law upon meeting her for the first time," said Chief Huang as he attempted to curry favor with Qin Feng. Rao Sherman was almost angered to death every time she heard Chief Huang say little sister-in-law. What kind of eyes did this guy have? How could she possibly like a man as vulgar as Qin Feng? However, Rao Sherman couldn't burst out in anger at this time. Chief Huang said she looked like Rao Sherman, so she was afraid that once she opened her mouth, she'd reveal her identity. It would be bad if a swarm of avid fans were attracted. Qin Feng originally hated Chief Huang because he said "Young Master Qin" every time he opened his mouth. He was clearly set on revealing his identity. However, right at that moment, Qin Feng suddenly took a liking to this man because every time he said "little sister-in-law," the words went straight to Qin Feng's heart. If Rao Sherman was really willing to be his woman, Qin Feng would be good to her for a lifetime. Haha, you're too kind, Chief Huang. My woman and I have already chosen what we wanted and paid for it. You can treat us if the opportunity arises in the future. Qin Feng naturally and lightly hugged Rao Sherman, lips arched into a faint smirk. Rao Sherman was panting with rage. She wanted to smack Qin Feng twice, but ended up fiercely suppressing the fury within her. She could only allow Qin Feng to hold her. Young Master Qin, you're giving this humble Huang face for coming to my store. How could I let you pay? Come here, you two. Hurry up and refund however much young Master Qin spent. Place all of young Master Qin's and little sister-in-law's purchases on my tab. Chief Huang shouted at the two salespeople behind him. They were so afraid that they immediately went to the register to retrieve the money. Qin Feng didn't care about the money, and he ignored Chief Huang. He hugged Rao Sherman a bit tighter, and his lips moved toward her charming face. Darling, I'm dead tired from walking all morning. Kiss your man and give him some energy. When Rao Sherman saw Qin Feng's lips getting close to her, she had the urge to bite this vulgar man to death. Without waiting for Qin Feng's lips to touch her face, Rao Sherman stomped harshly on Qin Feng's foot with her high heels. Qin Feng released Rao Sherman in that moment of pain. I'm hungry. I don't want to shop anymore. Take me to eat right now. She escaped from Qin Feng's arms and stood up like a queen. She walked out the door without looking at Qin Feng. Chief Huang, there's no need to return the money. I have to eat with my woman. When there's a chance, I'll find you for a drink next time. Rao Sherman left, so Qin Feng casually bade Chief Huang farewell and chased after her. The two walked out of the gold and silver building to the parking lot side by side. They saw Lin Shuai in the middle of placing a large pile of bags into the trunk of the car. Driver Lin, drive us to eat lunch after you're done. And move nimbly. Don't let my woman be hungry. Qin Feng patted Lin Shuai's shoulder and sat smiling in the back seat with Rao Sherman. Once they boarded the car, Qin Feng felt the pain of a fierce stomp on his foot and countless pinches on his waist. Qin Feng, if you dare mess around and call me your woman again, I'll move out of Qin Manor tonight, never to see you again. Chapter 269. Chapter 269. The budget was only 50,000 yuan. The Benz was breezing smoothly on the road. Lin Shuai had been slapped in the face the whole morning. Now his face was totally dark. Although he didn't dare peek at Rao Sherman from the rearview mirror again, he could tell by ear. Qin Feng was flirting with Rao Sherman in the backseat again. And Rao Sherman's silvery laugh drifted over from time to time. This meant she was amused by Qin Feng, and both of them had shared a sweet moment. Lin Shuai drove the car directly to the French restaurant. This restaurant was the most formal restaurant in Acropolis City. When Lin Shuai remembered they were having French cuisine later, the gloom in Lin Shuai's heart soon faded away. His mission for the day had finally come. It's my turn to shine now. He imagined giving Qin Feng a strong slap in the face by highlighting his nobility and his vast international cultural knowledge, and showing off in front of Rao Sherman when they arrived at the French restaurant. Lin Shuai's mood suddenly improved, and the car sped up accordingly. Soon, the Benz stopped outside a castle-like Western restaurant. Lin Shuai got out the car first, and then opened the door at the back. He escorted Rao Sherman and Qin Feng like a driver as they alighted from the car. Miss Sherman, this French restaurant is the most formal Western restaurant in Acropolis City. The attendants and chefs here are all from France. Later, when you're inside the restaurant, you'll feel as if you were in France. Lin Shuai had lost face at the Prada store. Now he had to grasp every single chance to recover his image in front of Rao Sherman. Rao Sherman gave Lin Shuai a cold stare, She was too lazy to talk with this guy. She waited until Qin Feng caught up with them and then followed him into the restaurant. "Mr. and Miss, this way please." As soon as Qin Feng and Rao Sherman stepped into the restaurant, two blue-eyed blondes welcomed them warmly. Both of them spoke authentic French. Even Rao Sherman couldn't understand them. Lin Shuai stepped forward suddenly. Putting on the air of a prince with his head and chest up, he blurted out a string of fluent French lines. "Hi, we've 3 people here. Please give us a table near a window with nice view." After he finished speaking, he gave a challenging glare at Qin Feng and then looked at Rao Sherman with a face full of smiles. "Sherman, I've arranged for a window seat with a scenery view for you. Only that can mar your elegance and beauty." When Lin Shuai spoke a mouthful of fluent French all of a sudden, Rao Sherman was slightly amazed. After that, the 3 of them followed one of the beauties through the restaurant. They were seated by a large floor window. Qin Feng and Rao Sherman sat on one side and Lin Shuai sat opposite Qin Feng. "Sherman, the French dishes prepared by this restaurant are authentic French cuisine. I come here for a meal occasionally. I'd already gotten used to authentic French cuisine when I was studying in France. I just cannot accept others that are not authentic." Once Lin Shuai sat down, he started to boast about himself again. He pushed the menu to Rao Sherman and said, "Miss Sherman, just order whichever you please. It's all on my tab." Rao Sherman gave Lin Shuai a scornful gaze when she heard Lin Shuai was going to pay the tab again. She still hadn't forgotten the incident in the Prada store. "Hee hee, Miss Sherman, I'll definitely pick up the tab this time. Don't be so reserved. Order as you please." The expense for this meal was the least of his concerns, as this meal would be covered by Royal Group. In order to maintain its authenticity and high standards, all the workers in this French restaurant were French. Even the menu was in French. Ordinary people would order casually by comparing the pictures of the food and their prices. Only a person who studied in France or had some proficiency in the French language would order by naming the dishes. Lin Shuai was an elite that studied in France. He deliberately handed the menu to Rao Sherman because he knew that although Rao Sherman was a top-tier celebrity, she wouldn't have had the free time to learn French. "Sherman, let me introduce a few dishes to you. I personally think this foie gras suits you the best. This dish can revitalize your skin and nourish your blood. A woman can become 100 years younger if she consumes it. Let's not forget about this fried lamb chop with rosemary in the French style. The meat is very tender and juicy while the taste is just remarkable. Besides these 2 dishes, they have macarons, bacon, creamy mushroom soup. Aish, I'm drooling over it now." Rao Sherman was slightly embarrassed. She was hostile to Lin Shuai. He was a pretentious person and liked to blow his own horn. She didn't want Lin Shuai ordering for her. But Rao Sherman herself was not so well-versed in French. Every time she went to a French restaurant, it was her assistant who ordered for her. Now, she could only poke Qin Feng's arm and put all her hope in him, wishing he could rescue her from this awkward situation. When Rao Sherman and Lin Shuai looked at Qin Feng, both of them were dumbstruck and their jaws dropped to the floor. Qin Feng wasn't concerned about ordering dishes. He was now chatting up the blue-eyed blonde beauty in fluent French. Although Rao Sherman couldn't understand the language, she could tell from how the beautiful attendant was blushing that not only could Qin Feng speak French, but he could speak it very well. His language proficiency was so great that he could even flirt with girls. Indeed, Qin Feng knew how to speak French. He was not only well-versed in the French language, he could speak all the languages of the world's 8 major countries too. The reason was simple. He deliberately learned it just to hook up with girls around the world. Even Lin Shuai was looking at him with an amazed expression. This was because he noticed Qin Feng's French was way more colloquial than his own. "Beauty, you have a faint lavender scent on your body and the fragrance is so alluring and charming. Just like you. Let me guess, your hometown must be in the south of France, the lavender capital, province, right?" Qin Feng grabbed the soft, tiny, lily-white hand of that blue-eyed blonde beauty and raised it to his nose. "Yes, just with a sniff of your graceful hand. It's like I'm immersed in a beautiful, big manor, grass fields, a chalet or a farm, sunshine, milk." Rao Sherman was completely flabbergasted. Even Lin Shuai, the self-proclaimed seducer sage, had no choice but to admit he was really blasted by Qin Feng for a dozen blocks after seeing how Qin Feng flirted with girls. "Mister, you're such a bad boy." The blonde beauty blushed even harder. She withdrew her tiny hand lightly and gave an enchanting wink at Qin Feng. A famous poet in France once wrote a poem to praise the beauty of Provence. Also, a famous composer has composed a wonderful song for Provence. Provence has much beautiful scenery. However, the girls there are even more beautiful than the scenery. It's my pleasure to meet such an elegant woman like you in China. Now, can I kiss you on your forehead? This is the way how a man in China shows his affection to the woman he likes. The blonde beauty came to Huaxia not too long ago. She wasn't very familiar with the culture here, so she was easily tricked by Qin Feng. With a shy smile on her face, she proactively lowered her head. Qin Feng, on the other hand, stood up slightly and kissed on her forehead. When he was sitting down, he took a peek into the collar of the blonde beauty. It was humongous. It was really incomparable with that of the women of China. Ahem, you're an attendant. You're not taking our order properly. And what are you doing here? Lin Shuai couldn't restrain himself anymore after he saw that scene. Originally, he'd planned to humiliate Qin Feng when they were in the restaurant, but now Qin Feng had started hooking up with a girl already. People all around them gave abhorrent looks at Lin Shuai after he shouted. This French restaurant stressed a quiet, relaxed, and classy ambience. Lin Shuai just now acted like he was eating in a hawker center. How could he not be loathed by everyone? Even the beauty that was flirting with Qin Feng glared at Lin Shuai as well. What an unpleasant man. Qin Feng, order the dishes. I'm hungry. Rao Sherman couldn't stand weighing Qin Feng flirt with that French girl anymore. She was a woman, not an ordinary woman, but a beauty with a charismatic personality and elegance. She felt a little bit distressed in her heart. That's right. Leader Qin, our mission is to host Miss Sherman nicely. You just came here to flirt with girls. Are you looking down on our Miss Sherman? Lin Shuai quickly mocked Qin Feng. Qin Feng casually brushed off Lin Shuai's mockery. He smiled and replied to Lin Shuai, "Idiot Lin, just now you said this meal is on you, right?" "Definitely, this meal will be the banquet for Miss Sherman for me," Lin Shuai replied with his chest puffed out. "This meal is covered by Royal Group. What should I be afraid of?" Indeed, this meal was covered by Royal Group. But Qin Feng knew the reimbursement was only 50,000 yuan. The excess would have to be paid out of one's own pocket. Otherwise, if a meal cost around 80,000 to 100,000 yuan, would Royal Group be silly enough to pay for it all? Idiot Lin said the same thing when you were in the Prada store just now. Now I hope you're not joking with us again. Are you? Qin Feng looked at Lin Shuai with a grin on his face. Lin Shuai's mouth chewed. His mouth foamed in anger. I said it's on my tab. That means I'll pay for this meal. I'll fucking demolish whoever competes with me for the bill. If I don't pay for the meal in the end, I'll be your grandson forever. Shouting, Lin Shuai smacked the table. He'd successfully attracted even more disdainful looks from the crowd. Mister, please behave with civility. Otherwise, I've the authority to ask you to leave our restaurant. The blue-eyed blonde beauty took a dislike to Lin Shuai and warned him indifferently. Lin Shuai felt he had been stabbed once again in the chest. How come even an attendant dared to challenge him? Since Lin Shuai was paying for them, Qin Feng wouldn't be considerate with him. He recommended to Rao Sherman a few dishes that were expensive but had small portions and couldn't fill one's stomach. The duo ordered around 10 dishes within a few minutes. On the other hand, Lin Shuai just kept staring at them. He was rather unresponsive to them when he saw that most of the dishes they'd ordered were expensive. Why should I be afraid when I can get reimbursement from the company? Yet he was disappointed when he saw Qin Feng really could speak French and understood the French menu. His original plan to humiliate and mock Qin Feng had been foiled again. Idiot Lin, food and wine are inseparable. You won't object if I order some red wine, right? Qin Feng handed the menu to the blonde beauty after he'd finished ordering and looked at Lin Shuai with a grin. Lin Shuai waved his big hand and said heroically, just order whatever you like. Money is the least concern for me. Then we'll add on 2 more bottles of the 82 Lafite and a bottle of Bordeaux AOC Supreme Grade Red Wine. Chin Feng covertly gave the blonde hair beauty's booty a light smack and smiled. Beauty, better be quick. Please rest assured. I'll ask the chef to prepare your dishes first. The beautiful attendant retreated shyly. Miss Sherman, do you think these dishes are enough for you? You can always add more if you want. All the dishes were ordered by Chin Feng, so Lin Shuai again looked at Rao Sherman with a smile. Rao Sherman hadn't said anything yet, but Chin Feng's voice drifted over first. Oh, yeah, idiot Lin. Just in case you're not clear, this lunch is covered by Royal Group. But the budget is only 50,000 yuan. Since you're so generous and you're treating everyone, I've decided to give you the budget of 50,000 yuan. Afterward, you'll only need to pay for the excess. We're good brothers, right? Save the thank you for yourself. Chin Feng looked at Lin Shuai with a smile. The awe-inspiring righteous expression of Lin Shuai was soon replaced by a look like he'd eaten some shit. Chapter 270. Chapter 270. Drivers Can't Drink. Chin Feng's words struck like lightning, hitting Lin Shuai in the head, and his mind blanked out. Then, it went abuzz. He was almost frightened into madness. Royal Group would reimburse only 50,000 for the meal? What kind of joke was this? The 3 bottles of red wine Chin Feng had just ordered were already 70,000 or 80,000. Lin Shuai suddenly felt that he'd been defrauded by Chin Feng again. Rao Sherman now discovered this lunch was going to be reimbursed by Royal Group. She was intelligent and quick-witted, so she understood everything immediately. No wonder Lin Shuai said it was his treat as if he had a trump card. He expected to be reimbursed. However, seeing how he looked like he just ate shit, he probably hadn't known the reimbursement limit. Rao Sherman was swept with a feeling of disgust when she thought about this man's every move. Mr. Lin, I believe you asked me earlier whether or not I wanted to add anything. I have a small appetite, but I love to drink. Chin Feng, help me order 2 more bottles of Lafite. Rao Sherman suddenly looked tenderly at Chin Feng. She decided to join hands with Chin Feng in ruthlessly shaming Lin Shuai. See if he'd have the guts to show off so casually in the future. In no hurry to add the wine, Chin Feng grinned at Lin Shuai and said, Idiot Lin, 2 bottles of Lafite are quite expensive. Do you want to let Sherman order them? Lin Shuai was so furious that his eyes turned red, and sullen tears almost streamed out of his eyes. He was silent for a while before he clenched his teeth and stated, Haha, yes, of course we have to order it. Let Miss Sherman choose whatever wine she likes. This meal is my treat. Compared to his previous grand and boastful proclamation that he would treat, the current Lin Shuai repeated these same words limply like a deflated ball. You really are heroic, idiot Lin. But if I had the chance to treat a beauty like Rao Sherman, my heart wouldn't ache upon spending this bit of money as well. Chin Feng snapped his fingers with a smile, and a waiter ran over. Add another 2 bottles of 82 Lafite. Once Chin Feng spoke, Lin Shuai felt the sharp pain of 10,000 arrows piercing his heart. You're fucking spending my money. Of course your heart doesn't ache. Soon, Chin Feng's table was filled with delicacies. Lin Shuai's mood slowly calmed. He thought to himself that the food and drinks were already ordered, and the money was already spent, so there was no point in dwelling in it. He simply made himself seem generous. Later, while eating, he'd show Rao Sherman how to handle and consume the food. If Rao Sherman liked him, and he could get her into his bed, then any amount of money for a meal was worth it. Hey, why isn't there food for me? This thought crossed Lin Shuai's mind, and he found that something was off. The table was filled with wonderful food, and all of it was placed in front of Chin Feng and Rao Sherman. The area in front of Lin Shuai was empty except for the cup of coffee that they poured for him in the beginning. The person who brought the food was the blonde beauty Chin Feng flirted with earlier. She stared at Lin Shuai with an attitude and said, Sir, you haven't ordered anything yet, so there's no food for you. Chin Feng, why you didn't put an order for me? Lin Shuai looked at Chin Feng like he wanted to eat him alive. I was busy helping Sherman order. Didn't you study in France? I thought you know French, so why would I need to order for you? Plus, if what I ordered didn't suit the tastes of an elite like you, then it'd be pointless. Qin Feng looked innocently at Lin Shuai. Rao Sherman was tickled by Qin Feng, and she covered her mouth to laugh covertly. She stole a glance at Qin Feng and finally realized that ever since they left Royal Group, Qin Feng had been constantly showing off and slapping Lin Shuai in the face. But how come when she saw Qin Feng show off she wasn't averse to it, and even felt a bit smug, but when she saw Lin Shuai show off, she only felt disgust. Ahem. That's fine, that's fine. Anyway, when I studied abroad in France, I ate these things almost every day, so I'm tired of them. I'll just drink some red wine. You two eat lots. Lin Shuai's heart was bleeding, but he had to feign calmness and excellence. Ever since he returned to the country, he'd never actually come to this French restaurant. In reality, this place was so expensive that it wasn't somewhere someone would casually go to if they wanted to. Today, Qin Feng bled him dry. Lin Shuai hadn't even eaten anything, yet he'd spent over 100,000 yuan. He was heartbroken, but he didn't dare order anything else. The feeling was worse than death. Sure, man, this French restaurant's Lafite red wine is a quality product from a French wine estate. The red wine is mellow and rich, and smooth and aromatic when it enters the mouth. And drinking wine is a very particular process. You can't hold the bowl of the wine glass. It's best to hold the stem. Otherwise, the warmth of your hand would change the taste of the wine. When you drink wine, you first have to slowly swirl the wine a bit and allow the bouquet to fully disperse. Then, take a small sip and keep it in your mouth while slowly tasting it. Lin Shuai couldn't eat, so he raised the glass of red wine, wanting to take a sip of the Lafite. He usually didn't have the opportunity to drink such an expensive red wine, and what he had just said was something he memorized from a book. Wait, idiot Lin, you can't drink. Qin Feng stopped Lin Shuai just as he set the wine glass to his lips. Lin Shuai had enough of Qin Feng today, and the fury he suppressed suddenly burst out. He glared coldly at Qin Feng and yelled, "Fuck! What are you trying to do now, brat? Your elder's treating Rao Sherman to a meal today, yet you benefited and freeloaded a meal. What more do you want? Your elder's paying, but I can't even fucking drink a glass of wine?" "Idiot Lin, you really can't drink the wine," said Qin Feng with seriousness. "Why can't your elder drink it? Your elder's paying for this meal." Lin Shuai angrily gritted his teeth. "Idiot Lin, did you forget who you are? You're Sherman's driver today. After we're done eating, you're in charge of driving. If you drink, who's going to drive?" Qin Feng's words rendered Lin Shuai speechless. He immediately suppressed the anger within him again. His abdomen was inflated like a basketball and felt like it would explode at any given moment. "That's right, Mr. Lin. You're in charge of driving today. You shouldn't drink wine." Laughing uncontrollably inside, Rao Sherman spoke up to aid Qin Feng. "Besides, when you were studying abroad in France, you always ate these things, and I'm sure you had your fair share of Lafite. Why would you care about this bottle of wine?" That's right, that's right. Why would I care? I was just so happy that I forgot about driving." Lin Shuai clenched his fist so tightly under the table that it was about to burst. He pasted a smile on his face as he looked at Rao Sherman and said, "Then I won't drink tonight. It just so happens that Qin Feng has never tasted such fine wine, so drink more. Maybe you'll never get the chance to drink it for the rest of your life." Qin Feng never cared about Lin Shuai's mockery. He snapped his fingers again, and the blonde beauty walked over again. She had a sweet smile on her face as she asked, "Sir, how may I help you?" "Beauty, you have a small band here, right? Call over the most expensive band. There isn't much of an artistic mood to this meal without music. Our Rao Sherman is a high-class person and needs an elegant atmosphere to mar her identity." Top-grade and authentic Western restaurants like this all had small bands, and they were extremely expensive. A casual violin song was over a couple thousand yuan. How could Lin Shuai not know this? His heart ached for his money, and he never called over a band. Now that he saw Qin Feng stealing the limelight while spending his money, he wanted to die. Qin Feng had already booked the band before he turned and smilingly asked Lin Shuai, "That's right, Idiot Lin is treating today, and I presumptuously called over a band to help us celebrate. You won't be mad, will you, Idiot Lin?" Qin Feng, I quite like the accompaniment of a violin while I'm eating. If Mr. Lin isn't willing to spend the money, then how about you pay for me? Rao Sherman grabbed Qin Feng's arm and acted cute. She had just clinked her glass and drank red wine with Qin Feng, and she was feeling a slight buzz. Her charming face was slightly flushed and was so beautiful it was enchanting. "Miss Sherman, how could I not be willing to pay?" "I'm willing to pay for whatever you'd like." Lin Shuai looked stupidly at Rao Sherman and thought that if he could bed such an exceedingly beautiful and famous celebrity once, he wouldn't hesitate to have his life shortened by 10 years. Not long later, the Western restaurant's first-rate band arrived. There was a saxophone, violin, cello, and even a conductor. Based on appearances alone, it was evident that this little band absolutely wasn't cheap. "Sir, this is our French restaurant's most famous fair band. 3 years ago, they had the fortune of performing for the Queen. They are extremely famous in France, so their appearance fee is also considerably higher. In our restaurant, one song is 20,000 yuan. What do you think, sir?" The blonde beauty looked at Qin Feng with a smile as she sought his opinion. Qin Feng didn't need to translate. Lin Shuai understood. His jaw dropped. How can it be so expensive? 20,000 for a song? This was a song that required him to sell his blood and kidneys. Money isn't an issue. What our Mr. Idiot Lin has is money. Let them play. "Let's start with A Spring Day in Paris," said Qin Feng with a laugh. Without waiting for Lin Shuai to speak, the conductor began to wave his baton. Spring Day in Paris is an iconic French song. The melodious and gentle violin played, and the grand and impassioned saxophone was blown. With the deep and profound accompaniment of the cello, the potent ambience of the French countryside filled the air. Qin Feng and Rao Sherman enjoyed the wonderful food while listening to the elegant tune. This style of enjoyment made Rao Sherman's lips curve into a sweet smile. Her mood improved greatly. There were a fair number of times in which Qin Feng fed her pieces of steak that he sliced, and she didn't even refuse them. No one who hadn't had the personal experience of spending money, yet weighing someone else pick up a girl and show off could understand how much Lin Shuai wanted to die right then. He had the urge to pounce on Qin Feng and strangle him to death. His original plan had been to use the lunch at the Western restaurant to ridicule and totally suppress Qin Feng. However, the situation changed in a way that superseded his plans. He found that whenever he was with Qin Feng, unexpected things would always happen, caught him off guard. It was a great fortune not to be slapped in the face, much less show off in front of him. Chapter 271. Chapter 271, Fantastic Destiny. Originally, Lin Shuai had been eagerly looking forward to this lunch, but the thing had taken a bad turn and become a disaster. Now, he longed to finish this lunch as soon as possible. He swore he'd never be a pretentious prick in front of Qin Feng again. Finally, after the small band finished performing their fifth song, Qin Feng and Rao Sherman had had their fill. Both of them stood up and walked from the restaurant holding hands, leaving Lin Shuai to pay for the meal. The blonde beauty was sad at Qin Feng's departure. She handed the receipt to Lin Shuai and said, "Mister, the total cost for today is 270,000 yuan. Would you like to pay by bank card or cash?" Lin Shuai was stupefied when he saw the row of zeros on the receipt. Minus the 50,000 yuan that would be reimbursed by Royal Group, Lin Shuai would still have to pay the remaining 220,000 yuan out of his own pocket. "I spent 220,000 yuan on a single meal, yet I get nothing. I only helped that Qin Feng enhance his relationship with Rao Sherman." When he thought of his own idiotic action, he had the urge to bang himself to death on the table corner of this Western restaurant. 220,000 was still manageable for Lin Shuai. After he swiped 3 of his bank cards, he'd squandered all his hard-earned savings. By the time he came out from the restaurant and boarded the bins, Lin Shuai's mood had fallen into the abyss. When Lin Shuai saw Qin Feng grab Rao Sherman's hand and tickle it under the guise of fortune-telling through the rearview mirror, he really wanted to step hard on the accelerator and ram the three of them to death on a tree. Although Lin Shuai's heart was filled with resentment, how could he show it in front of them? He pasted a smile on his face, turned his head and asked, "Miss Sherman, since we've done our shopping and had our stomachs filled, why don't we go back to the company now?" He didn't want to go anywhere else at all. He completely realized his identity now, a driver and someone with more money than sense. He didn't want to help Qin Feng pick up girls anymore. "Qin Feng, I don't want to go back yet. Since we just had our lunch, why don't we have a walk at Lotus Lake?" The relationship between Qin Feng and Rao Sherman had become a lot closer within a morning's time. Qin Feng had been trying to take advantage of Rao Sherman all along, while Rao Sherman was treating Qin Feng as a friend. Qin Feng associated two people with Lotus Lake. One of them was teacher Yun Xiao, who he sent off a few days ago. He'd accompanied Yun Xiao to row a boat at Lotus Lake. Another person was the vague little girl in his memory who he'd met 8 years ago. At that time, Lotus Lake was still under construction. It was just a tiny lotus pond, unlike today, when it had already become a major tourist attraction of Acropolis City. How could he miss the chance to take a stroll and appreciate the scenery with Rao Sherman? Qin Feng waved his hand and ordered Lin Shuai, "Driver Lin, Sherman wants to go to Lotus Lake. Drive there now." Corner of Lin Shuai's mouth tweaked vigorously. He had no choice but to follow Qin Feng's instruction and drive to Lotus Lake. Since it was noon, there were fewer people at Lotus Lake. This pleased Rao Sherman, as she wouldn't come to here if there were too many people. "Idiot Lin, you stay in the car and look after our belongings." When they arrived at Lotus Lake, Qin Feng held Rao Sherman's arm and got out of the car. Lin Shuai was preparing to alight as well. When he heard Qin Feng's words, his eyes dulled and he was so mad that he almost blacked out. It was a blazing hot sunny day in September, by a lotus pond. Rao Sherman had a flashback, time bridging an 8-year gap within a second. Now that she was standing by the lotus pond again, Rao Sherman had a feeling that she just time traveled. Holding an umbrella, Qin Feng stood beside Rao Sherman. Their shoulders were touching slightly. The surroundings were filled with Rao Sherman's youthful vigor. A slight breeze blew past the handsome man and beautiful woman standing by the lotus pond. The sight of them evoked a yearning within the spectators. It was such a mesmerizing and charming scene. This lotus pond has changed. It's no longer the same as before. Rao Sherman sighed, a hint of disappointment emerging on her gloriously youthful face. "Yeah, it has become larger, more beautiful, and a better place for people to enjoy the magnificent scenery. However, what is done cannot be undone. This lake is no longer the one we're familiar with." Qin Feng was deeply moved by the changes as well. He extended his arms and lightly embraced Rao Sherman's arms with his own. Rao Sherman's lovable body trembled slightly as she sensed Qin Feng's movement. But after she heard Qin Feng's words, her heart swelled with an indescribable familiar sensation. It was like the lotus pond that disappeared 8 years ago had returned along with that handsome sunshine boy. So Rao Sherman didn't struggle for her freedom. She just stood quietly in Qin Feng's arms and gazed calmly at the ripples on the lotus pond. Her thoughts hazed. After she'd met the handsome big brother 8 years ago, Rao Sherman had been searching for his whereabouts ever since. It was just that the way Qin Feng appeared then was too innocent, and she was in a hurry. Both of them didn't even know each other's names. China had a population of 13 billion. Searching for a person she'd met only once was like dredging the sea for a needle. Rao Sherman's efforts were wasted even as she desperately searched for him for 8 years. "Qin Feng, what are you doing?" Her recollection stopped abruptly. Rao Sherman's distant and hazy expression faded away, and she became vigilant all of a sudden. She glared at Qin Feng's close face and yelled, "Get your dirty face away from me." Qin Feng sighed as his action was discovered by Rao Sherman. "Her lips are within my reach. Just a centimeter more and I can kiss her sexy little lips." "Sherman, we're now at the side of a lotus pond with beautiful scenery. We're both handsome and beautiful, a perfect ma made in heaven. In such a wonderful environment, I just want to kiss your lips and let your body blend into my warm and broad arms. This kiss will inevitably become a great legend and spread throughout the ages for eternity. I understand this is an excessively heavy responsibility, and you, sure man, aren't ready yet. But don't worry. I'm here with you. I'll hold tightly to your waist and lead you to accomplish this peerless kiss. You don't need to speak or move. You just need to open your small mouth and let me show you how to seek the pinnacle in your life. Sure man, I'm going to kiss you now. Qin Feng started to act without any sense of shame again. He lowered his head and thrust his lips toward Rao Sherman's soft lips. Just before his lips could reach Rao Sherman, a clear and loud slap drifted over from his head. Slap. Rao Sherman opened her almond eyes as big as saucers and ferociously smacked Qin Feng's head. You scoundrel, are you asking for another punch? If you dare kiss me, I'll push you into the lotus pond and let the fish feed on you. Take your filthy hands off right now. I'll have you know that no other man, besides my father, has had the opportunity to hug me ever since I was born. Rao Sherman was mad as hell. She'd been overwhelmed by her emotions just now, so she allowed Qin Feng to hold her lightly in his arms. But this person wasn't satisfied and wanted to kiss her. Rao Sherman would never agree to this kind of thing. She wasn't a loose woman. Sherman, you seem to have something on your mind, Qin Feng asked with a serious expression after he accepted that his attempt to kiss her had failed. He had to change the topic to avoid awkwardness. Rao Sherman scornfully rolled her eyes at Qin Feng. This man changes his face faster than flipping a book. He is really shameless. I've been to Lotus Lake before, and since I'm now here again, it woke my memories of that person. He had a large impact on my life. Unfortunately, we lost contact. I'm not sure if he lives a good life now or not. Also, will he be the same as me? Will we inadvertently think of each other? Rao Sherman mused gently. Rao Sherman never told anybody that she had met a young boy at the Lotus Pond before. Not even her closest friend, big sister Qing Shui. This memory belonged exclusively to her and that young boy. She didn't want to share it with anyone else. She just wanted to hide it deep within her heart and reflect on it once in a while. That's such a coincidence, sure man. I met a little beauty by the Lotus Pond long time ago and give her a hand in her life, Qin Feng said, deadly earnest. But he was interrupted by an unhappy Rao Sherman before he could finish his sentence. Qin Feng, I've never told anyone else about the thing I told you just now. That is a real incident that happened to me, and I cherish this memory a lot. Although it's just a short memory, but I'll never forget it. Can you not just make up a story with your womanizing skill? You're insulting my wonderful memories, and I'll be very angry at you. Rao Sherman knew Qin Feng too well. This person was frivolous and shameless. He could say anything just to flirt with a girl. She thought Qin Feng intentionally made up the story just to ingratiate himself with her. Fine, fine. I'm the seducer sage of Acropolis City. Y'all will never believe any of my words anyway. Qin Feng replied with a smile, waving his hand indifferently. Destiny is like that, fantastic and wonderful. If you don't grasp it tightly when it comes, you'll regret incessantly when you lose it. And now, it sneaked up on them once again. The little dreamboat and little beauty who met 8 years ago were standing side by side at the place they'd met at that time. They thought the person living in their hearts was far away from them. But little did they know, that person was actually right before their eyes. Hey, Qin Feng, where are you going? Rao Sherman felt a light breeze blow beside her all of a sudden. When she opened her eyes, she saw Qin Feng running away like a gust of wind. Qin Feng's departure without taking his leave of the top-tier celebrity he was accompanying and admiring the beauty of the flowers in such a wonderful atmosphere was because of a person on the other side of Lotus Lake. That person was a woman, a pretty young woman. Most importantly, that beauty was the one he'd been searching for recently, Lu Wenjing. In an open space opposite Lotus Lake, an outdoor auto show was going on. This auto show was held by the luxury car brand Porsche to exhibit their latest models. Since Lotus Lake had nice scenery and many visitors, it was indeed a good place to stage an event. Whether they're luxury cars or pretty girls, both were eye candies in spectators' eyes. The combination of the two would successfully attract a crowd of men and women. It just wasn't certain whether they were looking at the cars or the beauties. Lu Wenjing wore an authentic white, high-slit qipao and stood in front of a flashy red Porsche 911. The slit of her qipao ran from the bottom of her dress until below her thighs. She didn't wear silk stockings on her long and lily-white jade legs. Those legs were left exposed, seemingly releasing a faint fragrance in the air. Since it was an auto show, all the car showgirls had to be tall and pretty. However, it was easy to see from the distribution of the crowd that Lu Wenjing was the most popular among the 12 car showgirls. This was because a multitude of people visited her booth. Some even took out their phones and snapped pictures of her. Ever since the disbandment of one group, after Lu Wenjing thought that Qin Feng cheated her, she had been constantly on the lookout for a part-time job to earn money. This auto show was one of her part-time jobs, and she'd be paid 2,000 yuan if she posed next to a car for a day. This was the first time Lu Wenjing was involved in this type of auto show. Her legs were sore, and her back hurt from standing in 15 centimeters high heels for an entire morning. Besides, the vast crowds made her feel sick at heart. The qipao she had on was very revealing, leaving her long legs and her back exposed. Seeing how those filthy men IED to paste their eyes on her body, Lu Wenjing was so furious that she almost quit. However, when she thought of the rent for the villa at Cloud City Hua Manor and the tuition fee and incidental expenses of her sister's senior high school, she had no choice but to clench her teeth and stick with the part-time job. Kachak. Suddenly, the sound of a picture being taken echoed from nowhere. Lu Wenjing was enraged, and her resentful complexion was immediately awash with blushing red. There were countless people taking Lu Wenjing's picture. She should have gotten used to it by now. However, this time, that person was standing in front of her and sneakily extended his phone into her dress and snapped a picture of her underwear. From a single glance, it was obvious this person was a shameless peeping Tom, an impudent beast who took pictures of a woman's underwear and uploaded them to the internet. Hey, what did you do just now? Give me your phone now. Lu Wenjing couldn't contain her anger anymore. How could she not be enraged when people started taking voyeuristic pictures of her underwear? The person who took the picture was a 20-year-old red-haired young man with an ear stud. When he heard Lu Wenjing call him out suddenly, he panicked at first but soon calmed down. He adopted an arrogant and despotic demeanor and glared at Lu Wenjing. Bye. Be a nice car show girl. What's your problem, yelling at me? Chapter 272. Chapter 272. Beaten until kneeling and begging for forgiveness. Why were you snooping around behind me at first? Were you secretly taking pictures of me? Take out your cell phone and let me see. In any case, Lu Wenjing formed the one group, and her superb bullshitting skills at Rujia Hotel made even the men there admire her. Now that she faced a fiendish young hooligan, she didn't admit defeat. Fuck. Is there something wrong with your head, Bai? The red-headed man's gaze swept disdainfully over Lu Wenjing. As a car model, aren't you letting your elders take pictures for free? Your elder is taking pictures of you to give you face. Why are you fucking complaining? What kind of model are you? And why did you come here if you won't let me take pictures? Why are you pretending to be all high and mighty? Their exchange soon attracted a large crowd that surrounded them. Once these people saw Redhead's conduct, they knew this brat must have secretly taken a picture up the beauty's skirt and gotten caught. However, these things happened all the time, so other than gathering to wow the excitement, no one spoke up for Lu Wenjing. Lu Wenjing was so angry that tears almost fell out of her eyes. She was also a girl, so whether it came to fighting or arguing, she was at a disadvantage. And she'd been standing for an entire morning as a car model, so she was completely exhausted. Her waist was sore and her back hurt. She almost didn't have the energy to speak. Hurry and give me your phone. Otherwise, I'll call the police. Lu Wenjing saw that she was weak and could only use the police to scare her opponent. Haha, why would I give you my phone? And what right do you have to confiscate my phone? Aren't you just suspicious that I secretly took a picture of you? I'll tell you what, your elder doesn't think anything of you. Even if you take off all your clothes and let me take pictures of you, your elder doesn't even want to take them. I've seen plenty of women like you that sleep with a different man every night for money. And you're even acting pure in front of me? You're crazy. Slap. Right after Redhead finished speaking, a crisp slap was heard. Lu Wenjing's clear and moving eyes held in tears. She had never been so humiliated by someone. In her anger, she'd rushed up and slapped Redhead. After getting slapped, Redhead stood frozen. He stared at Lu Wenjing in disbelief. He never thought this woman would actually have the guts to strike him. Fuck you, bye. How dare you hit your elder? You love acting innocent, don't you? Your elder will rip off your chi-pao and let you fucking continue pretending. Redhead saw red. He'd been slapped by a woman in public. He extended his hands and pounced on Lu Wenjing. He grabbed the back of her collar and forcefully tore it. Stinking whore, you don't want your elder to secretly take pictures of you. Is that right? Your elder will tear all your clothes off and let everyone take pictures to their heart's content. Haha. Let go, you beast. Wah wah. Someone help me. Lu Wenjing desperately clued the front of her bodice. Red imprints appeared on her originally clear, fair, soft, and fragrant shoulders. When Lu Wenjing saw that not one of the many people in the crowd surrounding her came up to help her, but had all pulled out their phones to wildly snap pictures, Lu Wenjing's heart froze. Bam! At this time, a black shadow suddenly appeared with a gust of clear wind beside Redhead. With a palm strike, Redhead was sent flying. After hitting Redhead, the person that arrived removed their blazer and placed it over Lu Wenjing's shoulders. She raised her head to see a familiar, handsome profile. Her heart instantly filled with hundreds of conflicting emotions. It was Qin Feng. Lu Wenjing would have never thought that Qin Feng would suddenly appear at this time. She'd faced a near-death experience with this man. And after the near-death experience, she'd been heartlessly betrayed by him. Lu Wenjing's feelings for Qin Feng were complicated. She both absolutely hated and slightly longed for him. If she could, she wished she'd never see Qin Feng again for the rest of her life, because her tears currently fell like rain. She knew that if she saw Qin Feng again, she wouldn't be able to stop herself from crying. Qin Feng's expression was heavy. He'd seen the entirety of Redhead's bullying of Lu Wenjing. After placing his white blazer over Lu Wenjing's back, he leisurely walked up to Redhead. Stinking brat, how dare you meddle where it doesn't concern you? Do you fucking know that you're elder? Redhead still wanted to act fierce with Qin Feng, but halfway through his yelling, Qin Feng's large hand grabbed his collar and lifted him. A large 7-meter-tall man looked like a little chicken in Qin Feng's hand. Smack! Qin Feng supported Redhead with one hand and smacked his face with the other. His slaps were on a completely different level from a normal person's slap. Qin Feng currently had Stage 3 external abilities, so a casual slap could unleash 5 times a normal person's strength. One slap made 2 of Redhead's teeth fly out. Why did you secretly take pictures of that beauty? I didn't secretly take pictures. That woman is falsely accusing me. Redhead got a taste of Qin Feng's strength, so his attitude immediately softened. As he spoke, blood dripped out of his mouth. Slap. Qin Feng turned his hand over and slapped again. This time, he broke Redhead's nose. Why did you secretly take a picture of that beauty? Asked Qin Feng again. Redhead didn't have the guts to lie. He realized he met a lunatic. Redhead saw a murderous air in Qin Feng's icy gaze. He knew that if he lied again, he would probably be slapped to death by Qin Feng. That woman is too beautiful. I couldn't stop myself from secretly taking a picture of her, said Redhead sullenly. Slap slap. Qin Feng slapped twice consecutively. Redhead felt as though his neck would snap if it was moved again. He held up his head and looked more dead than alive. You secretly took pictures of her just because she's pretty? Then if it was currently nighttime in an empty alley, would you also want to rape her? If your girlfriend was good-looking and I secretly took a picture up her skirt and did her, how would you feel? If I think you deserve a beating, then I'll slap you a dozen times. Would you feel good about that? If you do whatever you want to, then you're no different from bastards and beasts. If you're not the only one that thinks this way, and the 1.3 billion people in China also think this way, then what would become of the world? Slap, slap, slap. Qin Feng castigated Redhead while continuously smacking his mouth. A dozen slaps fell, and Redhead's face was swollen like a pig. If his hair wasn't a recognizable red, the spectators wouldn't have been able to recognize him. Boom! Qin Feng tossed Redhead at random to fall at Lu Wenjing's feet. Kowtow, admit your wrongdoings, and give this woman your phone. Then, go to the police station and turn yourself in, said Qin Feng coldly. Redhead was truly afraid of Qin Feng. He immediately kneeled before Lu Wenjing and kowtowed like his life depended on it. Ma'am, you're a good person and you're magnanimous. Spare me just this once. I'll never do something as vulgar as secretly taking pictures of people again. I've heard what Big Brother just said, and it has pierced my soul. I've decided that beginning today, I have to be proactive, ambitious to improve myself, and a good youth that seeks knowledge and learns from good examples. I want to use my knowledge to contribute to and repay our country. I want to. Lu Wenjing couldn't continue listening. She stole a peek at Qin Feng, and her heartbeat suddenly sped up. She immediately lowered her head, looked coldly at Redhead, and said, "Give me your phone." Redhead immediately pulled out his cell phone and handed it over. Lu Wenjing opened the photo album. As expected, there was a picture of under her skirt. However, right after taking the picture, Redhead was discovered by Lu Wenjing, so he hadn't even had a chance to look at it. Lu Wenjing deleted the pictures of her and found that this person had hundreds of voyeuristic pictures of different women. I said you were secretly taking pictures, and you didn't admit it at first. You're too shameless. The other pictures on your phone are evidence. Lu Wenjing glared at Redhead and wanted to kick him twice. However, when she saw that Qin Feng had beaten Redhead to a pulp, Lu Wenjing couldn't bear to kick him. Yes, I'm shameless. I'm lowly. In a bit, I'll turn myself in to the police. Ma'am, please spare me. I absolutely won't do this again. Redhead was still kowtowing to Lu Wenjing. There were still a lot of people surrounding and weighing them. Lu Wenjing was a bit embarrassed, so she waved her hand and dismissed Redhead. Once Redhead left, the surrounding spectators were embarrassed as well, and they slowly dispersed. Earlier, when Redhead bullied Lu Wenjing, no one stood up for her, and they even pulled out their phones to take pictures. Now that someone as fierce as Qin Feng appeared, they were afraid that if they didn't leave, they'd also be disciplined by Qin Feng. That would be tragic. Hey, where did you come from, you stinking brat? After the crowd dispersed, a fat-headed and large-eared middle-aged man ran over with 4 security guards trailing him. This person was the manager responsible for the auto show and the security guards that preserved order. Were you talking to me? Asked Qin Feng. The manager, followed by the 4 security guards, already arrived aggressively in front of Qin Feng. He pointed at Qin Feng and began to roar. Brat, how dare you fight and cause a disturbance at our Porsche car show? Guards, grab this brat. Qin Feng moved without waiting for the security guards to do so. How could Qin Feng tolerate a damn fat-headed and large-eared fatso pointing at his nose and yelling as he wished? Qin Feng grabbed the manager's finger and lightly bent it. With a crisp ka-cha, the manager's pointer finger snapped. It was so painful that he squealed pitifully like a dying pig. You look like a pig, but I didn't think you'd sound like a pig as well. Qin Feng lifted his leg and kicked the manager's stomach, sending him flying 5 or 6 meters. He hit a security guard rushing over from behind him and sent him flying as well. Do you 3 still want to come? After knocking over the manager, Qin Feng looked at the other 3 shocked security guards with mirth. The 3 hesitated briefly, then clenched their teeth and rushed at Qin Feng. Their manager had already been beaten by Qin Feng, so if they didn't even have the guts to come forth, they would be violently beaten by their manager when they got back. Or maybe they'd be fired. Stinking brat, how dare you cause trouble at a Porsche car show? See, the security guard hadn't finished speaking when Qin Feng tapped his foot and shot out like an arrow. Then, there were 3 dull sounds as 3 punches landed on the faces of the 3 security guards. These 3 were sent flying without a warning. Qin Feng moved too quickly. He moved so quickly that not even one of the spectators saw clearly how Qin Feng made his moves. Someone even suspected that Qin Feng never moved, and the security guards and manager were acting. Qin Feng didn't care about the manager or the 4 security guards. After taking care of them, he didn't spare them another glance. He arrived before Lu Wenjing. Beauty Lu Wenjing, long time no see. Qin Feng already rid himself of his violence and viciousness. He extended a hand with a gentle smile as he looked at the charming and moving Lu Wenjing. Lu Wenjing still hadn't regained her senses. After seeing Qin Feng's valiant actions, she suddenly remembered the time they were at the square behind the pedestrian walkway and the image of the fierce battle involving over 100 wild wolf gang hooligans. At the time, the already completely dejected and hopeless Lu Wenjing had been filled with hope upon seeing Qin Feng's abilities, and the two fought shoulder to shoulder and defeated the hooligans. That was such a beautiful memory. If she hadn't found out afterward that Qin Feng tricked her, Lu Wenjing had no doubt that the one group would have flourished, and she and Qin Feng might also have come together. Slap. Lu Wenjing suddenly regained her senses, and her expression was abnormally cold. Once she thought about Qin Feng's betrayal and how he'd used her, Lu Wenjing was so angry that she clenched her teeth and harshly slapped Qin Feng's hand away. Chapter 273. Chapter 273, Devil and Sex Demon. Ha! You scoundrel. You still have the face to look for me? The thickness of your face knows no boundaries. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been so shameless and betrayed me. Lu Wenjing sneered at Qin Feng. Her face was awash with red from anger. She then twisted her head sideways, refusing to look at Qin Feng's handsome face. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to resist screwing it. Jing, I guess there's some misunderstanding between us. I've been searching for you for the past few days, and now I finally found you. Have you been lately? Qin Feng looked at Lu Wenjing with a smile, unaffected by her rage at all. There's no misunderstanding between us. This was simply because we don't know each other. Go away now. I still have work to do. Lu Wenjing furiously took off Qin Feng's blazer and threw it back to him. She fixed her cheap house collar and went back to her booth. Qin Feng followed her, pulled her hand, and tried to bring her away. Jing, let's find some quiet place first and I'll explain slowly. Lu Wenjing shook off Qin Feng's hand and panted with rage. I'll call the police to arrest you if you dare to get fresh with me again. Jing, do you want to leave or not? Qin Feng put on a solemn expression. Not. Lu Wenjing replied sternly. I won't follow you. You lecher. Pervert. Put me down. As soon as Lu Wenjing finished her words, she felt her body became lighter all of a sudden, and she was pulled into Qin Feng's arms. Lu Wenjing desperately thumped Qin Feng's back and head. However, this man wasn't afraid of pain at all. Qin Feng, I still haven't gotten my pay yet. Lu Wenjing pouted her mouth in frustration. Qin Feng was walking past the crowds toward the exit with Lu Wenjing in his arms. When he heard Lu Wenjing's words, he spun around and headed back to the auto show's booth. Hey, weren't you the manager for this show? Qin Feng went in front of the big fatso he'd kicked just now. The big fatso very much despised Qin Feng in his heart. However, this fellow's skills were out of his league. Seeing him rush back all of the sudden, that manager was so frightened that his blubber quivered vigorously. Why yes, I am. Pay my woman her wages right here and now. Qin Feng locked Lu Wenjing tightly in his arms and sent an icy glare at the manager. The manager didn't dare to go against Qin Feng and get beaten by him once again for a mere 2,000 yuan. He wasn't that stupid. Big brother, here is the 2,000 yuan. Please check. Slap. Qin Feng slapped the manager in the face and said coldly, 2,000 yuan? Are you fucking kidding me? Big brother, I made a deal with your woman before the event. It's really 2,000 yuan? The manager felt aggrieved as he was slapped for an unknown reason. As soon as he finished his sentence, Lu Wenjing gave him a big slap in the face too. What nonsense are you saying? Who said I'm the woman of this beast? That manager felt even more insulted after the slap. Now you listen to me carefully. 2,000 yuan is the pay for my woman. She worked for your show as a car show girl. When a person snuck a picture of her, your organization didn't step forward to help her and protect her reputation and her personal safety. As a result, my woman was frightened. Shouldn't you compensate for her mental damage? Darling, how much do you want for the compensation? Qin Feng looked at Lu Wenjing abruptly and asked. Lu Wenjing was slightly stunned. This was because not even she herself thought of compensation for mental damage. However, when she heard what Qin Feng said, Lu Wenjing thought she really should ask for indemnity. She worked the Porsche Auto Show as a car show girl. When a sex maniac sneakily took a picture of her during the event, the security guards of the auto show just waited at the sidelines with their arm crossed and didn't step forward to stop that redhead. These people really sucks. Then, this much should do. Lu Wenjing put on an angry face and extended 5 fingers at Manager Lu. Qin Feng promptly reined in his anger, his expression turning chilly, and said, Did you see that? My woman wants compensation of 50,000 yuan as her indemnity for receiving mental damage. I'll give you 1 minute. Transfer the money to my woman's card now, or I'll demolish you. Lu Wenjing was dumbstruck at Qin Feng's words. She was so freaked out that she didn't even care anymore that Qin Feng called her his woman. Lu Wenjing needed money fast. Otherwise, she wouldn't join Qin Feng in extorting money from this abhorrent manager. Lu Wenjing just wanted 5,000 yuan, but Qin Feng demanded 50,000 yuan, which was beyond her expectations. This fellow is indeed more ruthless than me. He is a shameless rascal. However, when Lu Wenjing took a look at Qin Feng's arrogant profile, she couldn't help but admire Qin Feng's domineering and handsome demeanor in her heart. 50,000? Why don't you go rob on the street instead? I dare you to kill me now. I don't have that much money, even if you beat me to death anyway. After hearing that he had to pay 50,000 yuan to compensate for mental damage, the manager's face became dark. It was one thing to pay 5,000 yuan to not get beaten, but it really wasn't worth it to have to pay 50,000 yuan and get beaten. After all, this extra money would come out of the manager's pocket. Slap. Qin Feng gave the manager's face a huge slap. This person had a fat head and large ears, and his face was jowly. When Qin Feng slapped him, those jowls jiggled non-stop with a tempo of their own. Seeing that this manager had some backbone, Qin Feng was going for another slap. Before his hand could reach the manager, a plop echoed and he saw the manager kneel in front of him with his hands clasped, pleading, Big brother, I'm just joking with you. Please stop hitting me. Please don't hit me anymore. I'll pay the 50,000 yuan. Please give me your bank account number, and I'll transfer the money to you now. The corner of Qin Feng's mouth twitched a little. He looked at the manager and shook his head as the manager failed his expectation. Lu Wenjing, on the other hand, excitedly gave the manager her bank account number. After 1 minute, Lu Wenjing received an SMS notification. She carefully counted the 4 zeros after the 5 and confirmed the figure was really 50,000 yuan. Originally, Lu Wenjing had been suppressing her resentment ever since Redhead snuck a picture of her. But now, she was very delighted and hoped more people would sneak pictures of her. This was because she didn't need to worry about her little sister's university tuition fees anymore. Darling, have you received the money yet? Qin Feng heard the SMS notification as well. Yes, I received the money. Lu Wenjing acted like a little money grubber and grabbed Qin Feng's arms in great delight. She'd forgotten that she was still angry with Qin Feng. Boneless. Qin Feng casted a scornful look at the manager kneeling in front of him. The manager choked on a breath all of a sudden, and he couldn't spit it out. He was so angry he blacked out directly. Lu Wenjing realized something was wrong after she finished talking. She quickly wiped off her smiling face, released Qin Feng's arm, and sent an icy glare at him. Who is your darling? Please mind your mouth. We don't even know each other. Once again, the corner of Qin Feng's mouth twitched vigorously. So this was what they mean by kick away the ladder after you go on, burn the bridge after you cross the river. Rao Sherman had been weighing Qin Feng the whole time after he left Lotus Lake. She saw the entire incident that happened to Qin Feng and Lu Wenjing. She saw Qin Feng had a little beauty in his arms, who was no less beautiful than she was. She witnessed him helping her chase away the bad guys and ask for wages from the horrible manager. After she saw what Qin Feng had done for the little beauty, mixed feelings suddenly welled up in her heart. She waited as the duo strolled off and disappeared from her line of sight. She sighed lightly and walked gracefully back to the bins. Mr. Lin, let's go back to the company now. We don't need to wait for Qin Feng anymore. Are you nuts? Please stop trailing me. I'll call the police if you still follow me. Lu Wenjing was walking in front while Qin Feng followed her, enjoying the slender, long legs that were slightly forked under her up-tilted booty. Were you listening to me, you little brat? What are you looking at? Ah, you pervert. If you dare look again, I'll fucking gouge out your eyes. Lu Wenjing was almost enraged to death by Qin Feng. She'd talked so much and in the end this little brat took her words like a passing leaf. He was still following her and sneaking peeks at her. Jing, why you are a car show girl? Were you short of money recently? Qin Feng withdrew his filthy gaze. He abruptly put on a stern expression and stared fixedly into Lu Wenjing's clear eyes. Qin Feng changed too fast. Lu Wenjing couldn't keep up with his fickle and capricious mind. It's none of your business. I don't have any relationship with you whatsoever. Even if I become someone else's mistress, it's none of your concern. Not even she realized, but Lu Wenjing would burst with anger once she saw Qin Feng. She purposely said those words just to annoy Qin Feng. However, Qin Feng was rather unaffected, even giving her a wicked smile. Jing, now that I know you'd like to be a homewrecker, why don't you become my sweetheart instead? How much do you need for every month? Just name your price. Name your ass. I don't want to be your sweetheart. You're a scumbag, liar. King betrayer. Lu Wenjing blasted Qin Feng with all the curse words she knew. Qin Feng looked at Lu Wenjing's breasts that were bouncing vigorously due to her rage. He gulped his saliva and said, Jing, I guess we have some misunderstanding between us. There's a Starbucks over there. Let's go in for 2 cups of coffee, and then we'll sit quietly on a couch, gaze at each other fondly, and talk about the matter of you becoming my sweetheart. Qin Feng, are you through? Lu Wenjing was so angry that she might have vomited blood. When will this fellow be more serious about himself for once? I'm leaving. Please don't come to me anymore. The Qin Feng that lived in my heart was already dead 1 week ago. Taking her leave, Lu Wenjing turned around. Her eyes looked lost and sentimental. Qin Feng chased Lu Wenjing and pulled her hand firmly. He then said with a serious expression, Jing, how about we go to my house? We can sit on my bed and look into each other's eyes. I'm going to use a night to clear up the misunderstanding between us. Go to hell. Lu Wenjing fully utilized the 15 centimeters high heels and stomped hard on Qin Feng's feet. She quickly ran away while Qin Feng was moaning in pain. Lu Wenjing wasn't sure how long she ran. She just ran with all her might using her long legs. She stopped when her legs felt like they were about to break. Lu Wenjing looked behind her as she panted heavily. After she confirmed that rascal Qin Feng was nowhere in sight, she patted her towering breasts and let out a long sigh of relief. It was just a half-breath, and a familiar snicker echoed beside her ear. Jing, how can you simply stomp on another's feet? Needless to say, a woman running with her long and slim legs is a spectacular sight to the eye. So sexy. Qin Feng appeared from nowhere like a ghost. Eek! Ghost! Screamed Lu Wenjing, frightened. Her high heels were unstable, making her stagger and fall directly toward Qin Feng. Qin Feng quickly took Lu Wenjing into his arms and looked around with a nervous expression. Jing, where's the ghost? Don't be afraid. I'm the son of destiny. Those ghouls and bogies will not dare come near me. I'm here to protect you. You'll be fine. Suddenly, Lu Wenjing felt a big hand fall on her booty and she screamed again. You sex demon, I'm gonna kill you. Qin Feng hastily grabbed Lu Wenjing's jade hands and nervously looked around again. Just now it's a devil, then even a sex demon has come. Seems like the Yin Qi here is too strong and we shouldn't stay for long. Jing, Let's get out of here fast. Lu Wenjing cried. She cried because she felt hopeless at Qin Feng's shameless and knavish behavior. Jing, why are you crying? Who bullied you? Tell me. I'm gonna kill him. Qin Feng was now pressing on Lu Wenjing's booty with one hand, covering her breasts with another, and looking seriously at Lu Wenjing. Lu Wenjing's cries were becoming louder and louder. Her tears made the makeup on her face run. She really wanted to bellow into Qin Feng's ears, "That devil and sex demon and the guy who bullied me are you. Kill yourself if you can." However, when she thought of Qin Feng's shameless demeanor, Lu Wenjing kept her mouth shut. She was afraid once she opened her mouth, Qin Feng might put his hand on some other part of her body. Chapter 274. Chapter 274, Lu Wenjing's Method of Revenge. Jing, don't cry. If you cry, my heart will break. Qin Feng looked at Lu Wenjing with a distressed expression. Lu Wenjing wiped the tears on her face and ruthlessly slapped away the large hand Qin Feng placed on her chest. She yelled coldly, "If you keep squeezing, you'll squeeze my heart to pieces. Qin Feng, I'm telling you with all seriousness not to keep following me. Otherwise, I'll yell and accuse you of harassment." Lu Wenjing reinstated her calm demeanor and exuded iciness. However, this air of pushing him 1,000 miles away that had just been expressed instantly disappeared, leaving only Lu Wenjing struggling and faint panting. "Wah wah. Qin Feng, hurry up, wah wah." Qin Feng covered Lu Wenjing's mouth with one hand and hugged her small waist with the other. He spoke to her earnestly, Jing, how could you think I'm harassing you? You can insult my dad's integrity and question the morality of the entire Qin family, but you can't plant false evidence against my righteousness. I was kind enough to help clean up that pervert obsessed with taking pictures without permission, get your wage, and even extort that damn fatso. At the time, so many people waged you get bullied, but not one person was willing to help. I didn't care whether I lived or died, and I didn't even ask you to repay me by devoting your life to me. But you can't burn the bridge after crossing it. Now you want to turn on me out of anger and say I harassed you. I, Qin Feng, am a calm and poised gentleman who doesn't claim the good things I've done. How could I harass a maiden in the prime of her youth? Qin Feng was high-spirited, hot-blooded, and worked up, like a warrior about to fight for the honor of his country. A passerby looked at Qin Feng with alarm and said to Lu Wenjing, "Beauty, are you all right? Do you know this person? Do you need me to call the police? Why is he covering your mouth with one hand and pressing on your chest with the other? He's not trying to abduct you right now in the middle of the street, is he?" Qin Feng's face revealed an awkward smile, and he immediately removed the hand on Lu Wenjing's chest. "We're lovers. We're just playing." "Beauty, are you really all right?" asked the passerby with seriousness. He didn't think Qin Feng looked like a good person, and he pulled out his cell phone as if he was about to call the police at any moment. Lu Wenjing removed Qin Feng's hand from her mouth and smiled lightly at the passerby. "Thank you for your kind intentions, but I'm all right." "Darn. I was trying to be the hero saving a beauty, so I could leave the scene while hugging the beauty. Then we might have been able to roll around in the bedsheets. Who'd have thought that it was just a couple publicly displaying their affection? Public morals are degenerating every day." The passerby shook his head and sighed helplessly as he walked away. Qin Feng's and Lu Wenjing's mouths chewed, and they had the urge to run after that brat and give him a good beating. "Qin Feng, what do you want?" Lu Wenjing returned to the way she was before and struggled out of Qin Feng's embrace. She looked coldly at him. "After tricking me with a scheme and tricking our one group into its demise, you've run back here to gloat in front of me and mock me for being an extremely dumb girl. Qin Feng, don't you think this is really pointless? Don't you think it's really tiring to live in a sinister and deceitful world? I've misjudged you, and I don't want to interact with you ever again. I'm begging you to spare me. Leave." Jing, you've misunderstood me. Why aren't you letting me give a proper explanation?" Qin Feng also became serious. "Haha, misunderstood? Explanation? Lu Wenjing laughed coldly. Then let me ask you, are you the boss behind the phone group? Qin Feng nodded. Then when the one group went to fight the phone group, did you scheme and trick the one group into fighting the Wild Wolf Gang while your phone group's core individuals used the opportunity to take down the Wild Wolf Gang's strongholds in the Northern District? Qin Feng nodded again. Now, the one group is no more, and your phone group's power has increased significantly, becoming one of the 3 powers in Acropolis and the #1 power in the Northern District. Everything you've said is correct, said Qin Feng. He thought he would look too stupid just nodding the whole time. Then what else is there to explain? Stinking brat. Bam! Qin Feng had just finished speaking when Lu Wenjing punched his chest. However, Qin Feng was completely fine, and Lu Wenjing yelped in pain and nursed her soft, elegant pink fist with a grimace. Jing, are you all right? If you want to touch my chest, be more gentle. My pecs are as hard as rocks, so how could it not hurt if you hit it? Qin Feng took Lu Wenjing's elegant fist and rubbed it lightly. Lu Wenjing allowed Qin Feng to take advantage of her hand. Qin Feng forced her to the brink of insanity, and she didn't even have the strength to resist. She hadn't known Qin Feng for long, but she already experienced Qin Feng's shamelessness and vulgarness many times. And now that Qin Feng looked for her, harassed her, and refused to leave, a flash of something different went through Lu Wenjing's icy and beautiful eyes. She knew she wouldn't get Qin Feng to leave today. This person is shameless and perverted. He probably wants to take my body. Someone as evil as him is as annoying as a housefly. Lu Wenjing wanted to teach him a proper lesson. However, Lu Wenjing wasn't worthy of being Qin Feng's opponent. She decided to call in reinforcements. Qin Feng, you really have something to explain to me? Lu Wenjing's attitude changed completely. She went from being bone-chilling to charming and moving. Of course, Jing. I have lots and lots of things to tell you. Qin Feng's touch drifted from Lu Wenjing's small hand to her shoulder. Lu Wenjing lightly shoved Qin Feng's hand away and said with a smile, then take me back to school, okay? The qipao I'm wearing is too eye-catching. Wherever I go, people stare at me, and I'm a little embarrassed. Of course. Want me to carry you back? You've stood for half the day, so your feet must hurt. No, I can walk. Lu Wenjing immediately dodged the hand Qin Feng extended and turned to stop a taxi. Lu Wenjing was a junior in Acropolis Normal University and was a golden campus beauty. Qin Feng had dropped out of Acropolis University for over a month now, so Qin Feng felt a bit nostalgic at stepping into another university, walking amongst its green willows and cool breezes, and seeing lovers holding hands, coming and going while admiring the flowers and lakes. Jing, your normal university is pretty nice. It's even a bit better than the Acropolis University that I miss. A hint of disdain flashed in Lu Wenjing's eyes. She didn't believe Qin Feng ever went to university. He was clearly the big boss of an underground power, so he had to pretend to be scholarly and refined. Who knew how many pure young girls were tricked by this wolf in sheep's clothing? The two of them walked on the campus's grassy path shoulder to shoulder and hand in hand. Of course, Qin Feng originally wanted to hug Lu Wenjing's shoulders, but Lu Wenjing refused, so he could only compromise, and she led him to stroll hand in hand through the campus. Damn, who is that girl wearing the white qipao? She's as beautiful as a fairy. Look at her long and slender legs. It gives one the urge to bite it. You don't even know the #1 golden campus beauty Lu Wenjing? Then you've come to study at Normal University for nothing. That is the #1 goddess in the hearts of all men in Normal University. Fuck, then who is that man holding Lu Wenjing's hand? Why haven't I ever seen him on campus? Wasn't Lu Wenjing always single? Why does she suddenly have a boyfriend? And she even found such a vulgar man? She must be blind. That brat is in deep shit. I've already posted a picture of him with Lu Wenjing on the school's discussion forum. If Lu Wenjing doesn't have over 1,000 suitors, she at least has 800. How would those people feel, seeing this scene? Haha, this brat won't be able to leave in you on his feet today. Qin Feng and Lu Wenjing walked extremely slowly because Lu Wenjing intentionally walked slower. How could Lu Wenjing not hear the spectators among the passers-by who stopped, looked at them with astonishment, and began to discuss them behind their backs? She came to Normal University, firstly, to bring Qin Feng to Lover's Bridge. Lover's Bridge was a very famous spot in Normal University. It was surrounded by mountains and water, and the woods were overgrown. The bridge was at the end of the crushed rock path. Legend had it that as long as a man and woman walked holding hands across Lover's Bridge, they could become a couple. And if a couple walked across the bridge, they'd be together forever and always. Everyone knew the legend was a myth, but Lover's Bridge was still Normal University's most popular spot because it was a very good flirting place in the daytime and a good battlefield at night. Lu Wenjing took Qin Feng here because there were a lot of people and news would spread quicker. She saw someone taking a picture of her and Qin Feng and heard someone say this picture was already on the school forum. Lu Wenjing secretly chuckled to herself. She was waiting for countless suitors to run up and clean up Qin Feng. Jing, what are you thinking about that's making you smile so happily? Qin Feng suddenly looked toward Lu Wenjing with a smile. Lu Wenjing's heartbeat sped up. She immediately forced herself to be calm and said, "Anything. Did you know that the bridge before us is Normal University's famous Lover's Bridge? Legend has it that people who walk across it while holding hands all become couples." Lu Wenjing quickly changed the topic. "It's that mysterious, huh?" Qin Feng asked with seriousness. "Then if two girls or two boys walk holding hands, they can also become lovers." Lu Wenjing frowned. It was such a good atmosphere, and it was shattered with one line from Qin Feng. "Jing, do you believe the legend?" Qin Feng appeared not to notice Lu Wenjing's disdainful expression. He suddenly grabbed her hand and walked toward Lover's Bridge. "I don't believe it," said Lu Wenjing flatly. "Then have you walked across this bridge with any other man?" Qin Feng already held Lu Wenjing's jade hand and stood by the bridge. "No." Lu Wenjing shook her head with a bit of disappointment and yearning. She was a young lady in the prime of her youth. When Lu Wenjing saw the university's couples enter and exit in complete pairs, she hoped that kind of relationship would quickly appear before her and that a prince on a white horse could ride in on a rainbow cloud and hug her. However, Lu Wenjing had too many burdens. Not only did she have to go to school, she also had to raise her family and earn money. She worked multiple jobs and made all the money to pay for her and her younger sister's daily expenses and tuition. She longed for a fresh and free relationship at school, but she didn't have the time or energy to date. Jing, actually I don't believe the story about how walking across Lover's Bridge will make you a couple. Why don't we hold hands and cross it to prove our hypothesis? Qin Feng smiled at Lu Wenjing. Lu Wenjing's heartbeat instantly increased. She wasn't even as nervous as when Qin Feng hugged her and touched her ass and chest. Though she didn't believe the love story, she hoped the story was real. Women, no matter what age, have childish hearts that fantasize about fairy tale situations. Lu Wenjing was afraid because she wasn't Qin Feng's girlfriend. Other than her hatred for Qin Feng, she also thought of him a little. However, with that, could she so easily hold Qin Feng's hand and walk across Lover's Bridge with him? What if Cupid suddenly appeared, and when she walked across the bridge with Qin Feng, he mischievously shot them with an arrow and set her up with Qin Feng? What then? Stinking brat, let go of our goddess Lu Wenjing. Before Lu Wenjing could respond, an angry shout came from behind them. Chapter 275. Chapter 275. A man whose shamelessness knows no bounds is invincible. Stinking brat, let go of our goddess Lu Wenjing. Stinking brat, let go of our goddess Lu Wenjing. After a bellow of rage, more and more roars resounded one after another. In a blink of an eye, both ends of Lover's Bridge were crowded with two groups of hot-blooded youngsters. These people had fiendish looks on their faces and had set their sights on Qin Feng and Lu Wenjing. They took Lover's Bridge as a boundary and blocked off both ends, trapping Qin Feng and Lu Wenjing in between. Jing, are these guys talking to me? The people in your university are so unfriendly. Qin Feng was rather unaffected and remained calm, even though he was surrounded by hundreds of people. He didn't let go of Lu Wenjing's jade hand. Instead, he raised her hand to the air and waved it twice, challenging the boys at both sides. Stinking brat, do you have a death wish? We asked you to let go of our goddess Lu Wenjing now. Are you deaf? Qin Feng's action had caused a disturbance among the boys. If it wasn't for Lu Wenjing still in Qin Feng's hands and their fear of injuring the goddess of their hearts, they'd have drowned Qin Feng with their saliva already. Qin Feng, it seems like you're having trouble now. A mere trace of a smile crossed Lu Wenjing's clear eyes. Stinking brat, tell us your name, age, faculty, and height if you dare. I, this humble Yi, want to challenge you to a duel. A tall, sturdy man stepped out of the crowd and stared furiously at Qin Feng. No doubt these people were students of Normal University. In addition, they were also admirers of Lu Wenjing. When they saw the idyllic picture on their college chat forum with Qin Feng intimately holding Lu Wenjing's small hand and both of them standing at Lover's Bridge and looking at each other affectionately, they wanted to ask Qin Feng, "Did you ever consider our feelings? I'm not the student of Normal University. As for my name and height, I think it's not necessary for you to know. However, if Brother Yi wishes to challenge me, you may as well come forward and I'll treat you to a feast of punches," Qin Feng answered with a faint smile. They heard Qin Feng talk with an attitude, and more importantly, he wasn't a student of Normal University. Seeing their university's #1 goddess being taken advantage of by an outsider, these hot-blooded teenagers finally closed ranks in a rare display of unanimity. They had only one objective now: confront and expel the formidable opponent, Qin Feng. Yi Dechue, move aside. This stinking brat has the guts to come to Normal University and steal our goddess. Let me, this humble Zhao, give him a lesson first. Zhao Wuli, you're the one who should move aside. I, Zhu Dechong, haven't made my stand yet. Since when is it the turn of you two little tramps to come out? You guys are as weak as women. What if both of you're abused by that fellow instead? Then where shall we, the students of Normal University, put our face? Those boys jumped out one after another, all eager to give Qin Feng a punch or two. The reason was simple. They saw Qin Feng had soft skin and a smooth face, just like a pretty boy. They were certain that a guy like this didn't even have the strength to truss a chicken, and that every single one of them could take him down single-handedly. In a situation like this, the first person who stepped forward and put down Qin Feng would be like the person who tasted the crab first, firmly engraved in the hearts of lecturers and students in Normal University. Maybe his heroic act would be recorded in the annals of Normal University, and his fame would spread through the ages for eternity. Qin Feng sighed. He felt these people thought too much. Do you guys still want to fight? How about you all just come at me all together? I still need to hold Jing Jing's hand and cross the bridge with her after getting rid of you guys. Qin Feng waved his hand impatiently. You filthy scumbag. Don't even try to swindle us with your dirty tricks. I, this humble Yi, alone am enough to put you down. If we, the students of Normal University, do as you say, then we'll really fall into that crafty plot of yours. Even if we win at last, the reputation of our Normal University will be soiled. The Yi Dechue who stood up first and yelled at Qin Feng just now stepped forward. He lowered his head and slowly undid the buttons on his white shirt one by one. After that, he swung his arms and shook his shirt behind. The hem of his clothes fluttered as a light breeze wafted past. He then struck the pose of an unparalleled master, closed his eyes, and beckoned toward Qin Feng. Come, you little brat. I, this humble Yi, will close my eyes and... Bang! Qin Feng couldn't maintain his composure anymore. How could he tolerate a person that was more pretentious than him, acting like a pretentious prick in front of him? So, without waiting for Yi Dechue to finish his sentence, Qin Feng shot off a kick and sent him flying directly. Wah! As soon as Yi Dechue flew up, the surroundings echoed with exclamations. These guys who came looking for trouble with Qin Feng were just ordinary university students. They hadn't stepped into society yet, and still lived in their own fantasy world. Since when had they seen such a savage scene? How can this person fight without paying attention to others? He even sent a person flying with a kick. Weren't they all just bluffing? You'd see you were heavily outnumbered and beg for mercy. We just give you a few token punches or kicks, and then you would flee in panic. This would be the end of the whole story. This was the original idea of those university students that rushed violently to Lu Wenjing's side. However, the situation had taken a sharp turn. A turn so fast that nobody could regain their senses from amazement. That so-called Ji Wuli, you're the second person who wanted to challenge me, right? Come out now. The fearsome and fiendish expression on Zhao Wuli's face was long gone. Now, he could only lower his head and cower in the crowd. He didn't even have the guts to correct Qin Feng on his name. He'd seen Qin Feng's valiant skill. He would be a total fool to come out now and die. Let's give him some color together and get rid of this outsider. He dares to come to our normal university to steal our goddess and act arrogant and despotic. He's digging his own grave, yelled someone in the crowd. This yell was the last straw, and it immediately ignited the silent crowd. Yes, let's fight him together. We have hundreds of people. I don't believe we can't even take down a single person. Originally, I didn't want to take advantage over you by using strength of numbers, but I heard this brat challenged us to go against him together. Since he asked, then I as the student of normal university shall fulfill his wish. I've decided to fight you with everyone. Yes, you're right. Let's fight him together. Together. Many hands make light work. The revolution is close at hand. The mob that had spoken with righteousness and disdained fighting Qin Feng together changed its stance. And now, all the men waved their fists and lunged at Qin Feng. Fish won't live in clear water. A man whose shamelessness knows no bounds is invincible. Qin Feng had fully appreciated the true essence of these words since he was 10 years old. After all, he was the invincible entity. When faced with 100 screaming and bellowing hot-blooded youngsters running toward him, Qin Feng wasn't affected in the slightest. He pulled Lu Wenjing's jade hand and abruptly stepped onto Lover's Bridge. Lu Wenjing was stupefied. She acted like a soulless puppet as she pondered whether she should follow Qin Feng to the bridge. However, within a blink of an eye, both of them were already walking hand in hand along the bridge. Then, were she and Qin Feng now a couple? If I'm Qin Feng's girlfriend, why am I so excited at seeing hundreds of boys lunging at Qin Feng in great anger? Qin Feng must be in trouble now. Yes, he must be. Unknown to Qin Feng, Lu Wenjing was actually praying for his mishap. Qin Feng, on the other hand, thought this lass was scared by the mobs surging from both sides. All he felt was her hold on his arm growing tighter and tighter. Jing, don't be afraid. I'm here with you. Nobody will be able to lay a finger on you. Qin Feng's determined voice sounded in Lu Wenjing's ears. Crackle. Lu Wenjing's lovely body suddenly trembled. Before she could regain her senses, a loud sound of flashing lightning and rumbling thunder echoed in the air. This sound wasn't the real sound of lightning and thunder. In fact, it was the crackle made by Qin Feng's spirit snake whip, which he lashed at the two groups of people closing in. The spirit snake whip in Qin Feng's hand was glowing with orange light. Qin Feng waved his large hand. The spirit snake whip then made a complete turn and pushed all the people within 5 meters of him into the lake. Everyone, war out. This little brat has a weapon on him. What the *LL? It's a long whip. This person brought along a whip with him. How low? Qin Feng released his long whip, and ghostly cries and wolf-like howls resounded through the forest. The mobs heading to Lover's Bridge stopped completely. This was because they saw dozens of people pushed into lake by the long whip. Now, nobody dared to step forward to taste the power of Qin Feng's long whip. Even Lu Wenjing, who was in Qin Feng's arms, opened her mouth in a big O. Suddenly, a question popped up in her mind. If I'm Qin Feng's woman, will he smack me with this whip? So erotic. But it's so exciting at the same time. It's you guys who wanted to have a duel. All of you're frightened after seeing me send a person flying with a kick. Now you guys changed tactics and tried to attack me as a crowd. Then after you all witnessed the almighty strength of my long whip, you guys are scared again. Tell me, what can you all do? Such cowards. And you all still want to pursue Lu Wenjing? Please, just drop it. Qin Feng had originally wanted to admire the flowers and the scenery at Lover's Bridge with Lu Wenjing and, at the same time, discuss her becoming his sweetheart. It was such a great and fantastic afternoon, but it was spoiled by these stinking brats. Qin Feng wouldn't be able to cool his temper if he didn't scold these guys. Fuck. This little brat used a weapon. Let's find a weapon and fuck him up. Someone yelled from the crowd again. So, hundreds of brains started to think, and soon enough they came up with a new strategy. Rocks. Let's us smash this little brat with rocks. Fuck. He has gone too far. Oh yeah. I still have a slingshot in my pocket. I'll shoot this little brat to death. There was nothing more other than rocks in this bamboo forest. When Qin Feng heard someone suggest smashing him with rocks, he turned grim. By the time he regained his senses, a dozen rocks of varying sizes were raining down mercilessly on him. Looking at the hail of rocks, Lu Wenjing was so frightened that her delicate face became pale white. Did these stinking men think of me before they threw the rocks? Are they really my suitors? Crackle. Flashing lightning and rumbling thunder resounded once again, the spirit snake whip in Qin Feng's hand dancing elegantly and wildly in the air. This whip was an orange mid-grade spiritual equipment. Usually he would use this whip to defend himself against those experienced martial artists. It was a bit of an overkill to use the long whip to give a little color to these ordinary university students. Chapter 276. Chapter 276, Mollis Azure Wingblades. Orange lights and shadows filled the sky, and gusts of wind whistled everywhere. The rocks that crashed down like rain were all lashed away by Qin Feng's whip. They regained speed and became faster, stronger, shooting out in all directions, as beautiful as flowers scattered by a heavenly maiden. Sha sha sha. A large barrage of rocks bombarded the bamboo forest nearby like hail, hitting the bamboo with sha-sha sounds. Swish, swish, swish. This flurry of rocks flew into the taller trees, causing sheets of shattered leaves and flowers to fall and scatter in the wind. Ayo, ayo, ayo. This burst of rocks showered the mobs on both sides of Lover's Bridge, and ghostly cries and wolf-like howls resounded through the forest. Crushed flowers and falling leaves, a sky full of whip shadows, flashing lightning and booming thunder, ghostly cries and wolf-like howling. This was a completely unimaginable scene. Even if you saw it personally, you wouldn't even believe it. Surges of pitiful cries arose, and wave upon wave of people fell into the lake. Even the frolicking little fish jumped out of the water in fright and expressed their objection. The downpour of rocks slowly ceased because fewer people had the energy or the inclination to throw rocks. Half of the men had fallen into the water, and the remaining were wide-eyed and gaping. How would they have the time to throw rocks? When the wind blew through and shook the bamboo forest, the rustling was incessant. At the very back of the crowd stood a man in a white robe, holding a wooden fan followed by an elderly man draped in gray cloth. The young man was imposing and stood tall and straight. The elder with the cloth draped on him stood with his hands clasped and eyes burning like torches. Uncle Chi, how are Qin Feng's skills? The young man smiled slightly and opened his fan. He looked to be waving it casually, but he blocked all the broken rocks that flew toward him. Among his peers, he has superb power, but in the martial community, he's not worth mentioning. The elder's deep black eyes were swift, fierce, and pinned to Qin Feng, who was brandishing his long whip not far away. He didn't have a folding fan in his clasped hands, but when the broken rocks were about to get close to him, he automatically used some strength and swept them away. The elder was surrounded by broken rocks that formed a circle around his feet. But the long whip in his hand isn't bad. It's an orange-grade spiritual equipment. It's extremely rare in Acropolis. Uncle Chi eyed the spirit snake whip in Qin Feng's hand with a hint of longing. Haha, In the eyes of our Sima family, an orange-grade spiritual equipment isn't worth much. My blue-grade Mollis Azure Wing blades could slice his long whip in two. The young man replaced the fan in the waist of his white robe. He moved his palms slightly, and daggers appeared in them. The daggers both had a handle, but no blade. When the man's palms exerted some strength and passed some inner chi into the blade handles, the two blade handles suddenly changed drastically, flashing with light blue light. And the places that didn't even have a blade flashed with light blue chi flow. The flow was like both light and fog. It could be seen, but could not be touched. Whoosh! The young man waved casually, and the Mollis Azure Wing blades accurately slashed at a large rock that was flying toward him. Other than the sound of the blades cutting through the air, there was no sound. The rock instantly split in half like soft tofu. The part where it was split was as smooth as jade. There were no bumps on it, and it was gleaming and clear. One could even see their reflection in it. Mollis Azure Wing blades, blue top-grade spiritual equipment. The blades are crafted from the wing of the legendary blue-winged bird. Under normal circumstances, the dual blades have no light. A light blue light and chi appear only after an inner chi cultivator instills inner chi into them. The dual blades in hand are famous for being able to slice through anything. This Sima family heirloom really lives up to its name. Uncle Chi's gaze fell on the young man's dual blades, and his eyes brightened even more. You must know that our Sima family crafts weapons. What we don't lack is spiritual weapons. The young man puffed up his chest, immensely pleased with himself. He was the eldest grandson in the direct line of descent of the Sima family in Acropolis, and one of the 4 princes of Acropolis, Sima Tuesday. Oh, Qin Feng, you hid your strength. You've hid behind your hedonistic young master image with us 4 princes for so long, tricked Hao Yun into waging war with you, and caused the elimination of the Hao family. You single-handedly destroyed Jincheng City's #1 criminal family, Yuan Xiang's family, and smashed and scattered Sky City's Huaming's family. You really know how to pretend. The corner of Sima Tu's lips quirked upward. He weighed Qin Feng brandish his long whip on Lover's Bridge. From this moment on, he finally truly considered Qin Feng his opponent. Prince Sima, want me to trash that brat? As the Sima family's top bodyguard, Uncle Qi observed Sima Tu's expressions and didn't move unless commanded. He could see the cold, murderous look Sima Tu gave Qin Feng, so he proactively volunteered. Sima Tu waved his hand and smiled faintly. No rush, no rush. The Qin family isn't trash. 20 years ago, their first bodyguard was the #1 northern boxer Yuan Fu. You can easily kill Qin Feng right now, but what about after you kill him? Wouldn't this send our Sima family into a crisis? The Sima family always disregarded the Qin family, but we also wouldn't do anything strenuous that's unrewarding. I've just come out of seclusion, and I'm not stable in this new environment, so I'm not in a hurry to do anything. While secluding myself for 2 months, I haven't touched any women. I've come out this time to admire the flowers and the scenery. Young Master Qin really has superb taste. That girl beside him actually isn't bad. When I have the time, I'll play around with her and have a taste. When Sima Tu said this, Uncle Qi didn't act blindly without thinking. He was really clear on Yuan Fu's name, and he was a bit worried about this person. At this time, Qin Feng had already put away his spirit snake whip because no one dared throw more rocks at him. Sima Tu's gaze strayed from Qin Feng to Lu Wenjing and Qin Feng's embrace, and the smile on Sima Tu's face widened. You all aren't going to keep fighting with me? Then I'm going to hold on to your goddess's hand and cross the bridge. Having put away the long whip, Qin Feng held Lu Wenjing's jade hand and continued walking forward. Beneath Lover's Bridge was a calm and gentle lake. The lake wasn't wide, just around 10 meters. Once standing on the other end of Lover's Bridge, Qin Feng hugged Lu Wenjing lightly and looked at the path they had taken. Because the bridge was wet from the lake water, there were footprints. It wasn't easy walking this small little path, said Qin Feng with a smile and a sigh. In order to cross Lover's Bridge while holding Lu Wenjing's hand, He'd faced over 100 men at normal university both individually and in groups. In the end, they'd even thrown rocks at him. It really hadn't been easy. Qin Feng, why you really held my hand and we walked across Lover's Bridge together? At this time, Lu Wenjing finally came to her senses and struggled out of Qin Feng's arms. She hadn't prepared herself for crossing the bridge. Lover's Bridge had a profound meaning in normal university. On this day, with hundreds of students as their witnesses, the two of them walked over Lover's Bridge and indicated that they wanted to be lovers. This gave Lu Wenjing a strange feeling. She felt as though she held Qin Feng's hand and walked down a red-carpeted aisle for a wedding ceremony. Jing, from now on, you're my Qin Feng's lover. Qin Feng looked at Lu Wenjing with a smile and pulled her gently into his embrace. Lovers? Lu Wenjing stared at Qin Feng. How could we possibly be considered lovers? Lover's Bridge. Lover's Bridge? Doesn't it mean only lovers would hold hands and walk across it? You've just walked across Lover's Bridge with me, so you're my lover. In the future, you have to come whenever I call, and do the basics that lovers must do. Small leather whips, shaking cars, boats, and horses battling in the wild. You have to do your best to cooperate with me, said Qin Feng earnestly while looking at Lu Wenjing. If she hadn't wanted to maintain her wise and virtuous goddess image in front of the multitude of men, she would have slapped Qin Feng across the face. In your dreams. Lu Wenjing glared at Qin Feng and walked away with a huff. She had just been concerned and a little shy over their ambiguous relationship after crossing Lover's Bridge with Qin Feng, but now the complicated feelings were completely gone. All that was left was fury. After leaving Lover's Bridge, Lu Wenjing prepared to change in the dorms. She realized that her plan to take revenge on Qin Feng with her suitors failed. Qin Feng's skills were too abnormal, and who knew where he hid that huge long whip that he pulled out earlier? Lu Wenjing couldn't find it even after they had gotten all the way to the entrance of the dorms. Qin Feng, what do you mean by following me to the female dorms to change? Lu Wenjing walked up to the dorm building and found that Qin Feng was still following her, so she glared at him unhappily. Qin Feng really wanted to follow her up to see what a female dorm was like usually, but was shooed away by the fierce lady who managed the dorms. When Lu Wenjing saw that Qin Feng didn't follow her upstairs, Lu Wenjing's eyes became crescent moons. This was the first time she had any positive feelings toward the demanding lady dorm manager. Lu Wenjing quickly climbed the stairs to the third floor and changed into a clean and loose white sweatshirt. She looked very active. However, after changing, Lu Wenjing didn't go downstairs to find Qin Feng. She'd come to the dorm to change to get rid of Qin Feng. She decided to just stay hidden in her dorm room. After all, that Qin Feng couldn't possibly fly up into her dorm room. Without Qin Feng's nagging, Lu Wenjing made a cup of coffee, sat at the desk by the window, and drank coffee while reading. She was extremely pleased with herself. What made her happiest was that from her position by the window, she could see downstairs. She could see Qin Feng standing there stupidly in the blazing sun waiting for her like a fool. Lu Wenjing had the urge to guffaw thrice. However, her contentment and mirth only lasted less than 10 minutes when Qin Feng's voice drifted up from below. Jing, I know you're angry and I know you're in the dorms. I hope you'll give me a chance. Eat a candlelit dinner and watch a movie with me, okay? If you don't come down, I'll wait the entire night for you. If you don't come out tomorrow either, then I'll wait until the end of time. Qin Feng's voice wasn't loud, but it drifted clearly into every room of the entire women's dorm building because he used his inner qi. When one successfully uses inner qi, the qi can swallow mountains and rivers. Qin Feng merely possessed stage 2 inner qi. If he trained more, his voice could carry for thousands of miles, and he wouldn't even need a cell phone. Another idiot confessing to Lu Wenjing. That girl is just a little better looking and a little more slender. How is that worth all the men in normal university revering her as a goddess? They're really fucking blind. Why does no one admire a woman as beautiful as me? A woman's jealousy is extremely powerful, and so is their curiosity. Qin Feng's shout quickly attracted a large group of women who leaned on their windowsills to look at Qin Feng standing downstairs. They discussed him unceasingly. Most of them were complaining about Lu Wenjing and expressing their disdain of Qin Feng. Because Lu Wenjing was extremely well known in the school, people stood at the foot of the building practically every day to confess to her like Qin Feng did. That's not right. This man looks really familiar. A woman in the dorm yelled, startled. The women that had just left ran back to look closely at Qin Feng. I know. Isn't that the hot guy who brandished a whip and beat up those vulgar men by Lover's Bridge? He was so hot when he waved his whip. Not only were his movements handsome, the long whip in his hand was really cool. You're in heat, girl. Were you looking at the long whip in his hand, or the whip in his pants? Chapter 277. Chapter 277, Qin Feng is popular. Don't ever underestimate the evil within a woman's heart. Even a man would tremble in fear should she become evil. When Qin Feng saw the windows were crowded with more and more girls, the corner of his mouth lifted slightly. He knew Lu Wenjing was deliberately hiding inside the dorm and refusing to come out. Now he was trying to force this last to come down voluntarily. At this moment, Lu Wenjing was sitting by the window. With a pleased expression on her face, she took a sip from the cup of coffee in her hand and looked at Qin Feng standing below the window. Her water-clear eyes were filled with a smile. Stinking brat, trying to force me down with such an old approach? Ha, you're such a hilarious nitwit. You know what? The everyday sight of men confessing to me at the foot of this building is as magnificent as students queuing up for food in the canteen. I've gotten used to it. You just keep screaming and shouting for all you're worth. I won't heed you. Jing Jing. What's the name for the man standing downstairs? Is he the handsome guy who walked Lover's Bridge with you? Jing Jing. Since you've walked Lover's Bridge with him, why would you ignore him then? I think this guy is fine. Handsome and tall, straight and impressive looking. Even his skin is softer and smoother than mine. He must come from a rich family. He's better and finer than the bunch of guys who came to confess to you before. Jing Jing, I'm so jealous of you. Jing Jing, give him to me if you don't like him then. I'm mad about him. I've seen the video in the forum of him beating the vulgar men at Lover's Bridge. It's so awesome. One must feel secure having him as a boyfriend. The three roommates of Lu Wenjing were standing by the window. They took a look at the handsome and upright Qin Feng standing downstairs. Instantly, the three of them were smitten by Qin Feng's handsomeness, and they almost drooled on his head. It's fine. I can't thank you enough if you three can take him away. I promise, I won't be angry, Lu Wenjing said, a smile playing on her lips. Earlier on, Lu Wenjing had been very angry when any boys dared to confess to her at the foot of the building. Sometimes, she even had the urge to pour water on them, to turn them into drowned rats and shoo them away. However, this time it was Qin Feng confessing to her, and Lu Wenjing had other feelings in her heart. She felt some pleasure after succeeding in her revenge, a little bit of enjoyment, and a small amount of warmth and excitement. She couldn't help a faint youthful smile. It was just like her first awakening of love. Jesus Christ, I'm just late for a minute and those stinking bees got the jump on me. Fuck, I'll fight it out with you all. Shall you? Wait for me. I don't want to change my shoes anymore. I'll just wear slippers. And me, I think. I'll just wear my pajamas. Lu Wenjing was still deeply immersed in the soft-as-water happiness Qin Feng provided. By the time she raised her head, she realized the trio had already rushed downstairs to look for Qin Feng. When she took a look downstairs again, she was so stunned by the scene that she even spilled her coffee. Oh my goodness, are these women mad? Originally, there was only Qin Feng standing alone under the blazing sun in the open space, confessing to Lu Wenjing again and again like a dummy. But now, the space was packed with a dense crowd, and all of them were girls. Some of these girls were gorgeously dressed. Some didn't even take time to change their shoes. There were also some big-busted girls who ran downstairs in just their pajamas. The scene was as hot as a blind date convention. "Handsome boy, what's your name? Do you have a girlfriend? How do I look to you?" "Handsome boy, the sun is high. Let me hold an umbrella for you. See, you're sweating. Let me wipe it for you." Actually, that Lu Wenjing is not that good. Although she is beautiful and has a well-formed body, but I tell you, in our university, there are many girls selling their own bodies to others. Some of them even become kept women for some middle-aged uncles. I suspect that Lu Wenjing is one of them. Now, you look at my body. I have a nice flaming body as well. Is there any part of me that doesn't meet your expectations? You have so many more options. I don't understand why you want to put all your eggs in one basket. There were people helping him hold an umbrella, giving him water, massaging his shoulders and back, helping him wipe his sweat, and fanning him. Qin Feng was flabbergasted by these passionate girls who came out from nowhere. Suddenly, a conclusion came into his mind. The students of normal university were polarized into two groups: unfriendly male students and extremely passionate female students. If Qin Feng had known early on that the atmosphere of normal university was like this, he was certain that he wouldn't have enrolled in Acropolis University back then. Every woman was boy crazy, even the most beautiful or powerful and arrogant woman. It was just a matter of whether or not there was a man that had the ability to reveal their true behavior. These girls that surrounded Qin Feng were a group of immature young girls with no social experience, so they were more likely to be boy crazy. When these women saw Qin Feng's photo on their college chat forum and saw him brandish his long whip in a grand and majestic way, just like a peerless master in a fairy realm of flowery forest, these women had already become his fangirl. Qin Feng was handsome, tall, well-built, highly skilled with strong martial arts, and looked like a young master born to a wealthy family. A perfect man like him was not a prince in a fairy tale, nor the Spider-Man or Batman in sci-fi or fantasy blockbuster movies. He wasn't even a character from the domestic cartoons Calabash Brothers or Black Cat Sergeant. He was a real figure, real man living in the real world who was standing under the women's dorm like a jade tree in the wind. It was such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and anyone who wouldn't come to compete for him would be a total idiot. Ahem ahem. Beauties, I appreciate your kindness. But today I only came for Lu Wenjing alone. Please go back. Qin Feng felt if he didn't chase these people away, then the skin all over his body would be shredded by these lustful women. He hastily continued to yell upstairs. "Jing Jing, I know you're angry and I know you're in the dorms. I hope you'll give me a chance. Eat a candlelit dinner and watch a movie with me, okay? If you don't come down, I'll wait the entire night for you. If you don't come out tomorrow either, then I'll wait until the end of time." Qin Feng didn't change his words. It was the same words he'd yelled for more than 10 minutes. Because of his persistence and consistency, these words became a classic line in Normal University's college forum. In the next 10 years, countless male students in Normal University would win the heart of the object of their affection using these words. If you don't come down, I'll wait the entire night for you. If you don't come out tomorrow either, then I'll wait until the end of time. These were such romantic words that those women's hearts melted when they heard them. Even Lu Wenjing, who was hiding upstairs, experienced huge, perilous waves in her heart at these words. Suddenly, she was scared. She was afraid that Qin Feng would be snayed by the dozens of women standing downstairs. Her mind became a mush as she didn't know what she was thinking. Qin Feng betrayed her. How could she be hurt once again by this scoundrel's flowery speech? Stinking brat, why were you yelling below the women's dorm at noon? Are you asking for a beating? A loud clamor drifted from afar. 3 beefy men approached with displeased expressions. Seeing the leader of the trio, those beauties who were quarreling and making a racket suddenly fell silent. All of them had different expressions, but all their faces showed a hint of nervousness and fear. The trio consisted of Normal University basketball students. Unlike other nerds of the same year, all 3 of them had tall, stocky builds. They were now wearing singlets and black shorts, exposing the lines of their perfect muscles to everybody in sight. A lot of girls were covering their small mouths with their hands after seeing this hot scene. The leader of the trio was Gao Hu. The other two was his underlings, Lu Feng and Zhao Chuan. They were nicknamed Normal University's B Trio. 3 of them were more lustful than others. Countless new students and junior female schoolmates had fallen into their evil clues. Due to their beefy physiques and fighting prowess, nobody dared to get rid of them even if they tyrannized and oppressed people in the university. Students were afraid to stand up to them, while the university chancellors were unwilling to get rid of them. This was because the head of the trio, Gao Hu, had some background in Acropolis City. The Gao family was considered a small family clan in Acropolis City and had many connections with the university. As long as they didn't kill or burns, nobody dared to contain them. Fuck, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf or are you dumb? Gao Hu crossed his arms and stood aside with a cold expression. However, both of his underlings went into the crowd and started yelling at Qin Feng. Do you know me? Answered Qin Feng while smiling at the duo. He was completely unaffected by their yelling. How could I know a trash like you? Who do you think you are? Lu Feng shouted arrogantly. Then why should I talk to you? If you see a dog barking at you on the street or in the campus, will you stop and talk with it? Qin Feng answered him smugly. Of course I won't. How can I talk with a... Lu Feng stopped abruptly after he realized what was Qin Feng implying. His face sank and he bellowed at Qin Feng. Fuck you. How dare you call me a dog? No, I didn't. It is you who considers yourself a dog. With a puzzled look, Qin Feng looked at Lu Feng and asked, the guy who's standing there is your big brother, right? Then, doesn't that make both of you as dogs? Even if I say you're a dog, I don't mean to scold you. In fact, both of you should feel happy because both of you have done a great job in being dogs that one can see it with just a simple glance. Qin Feng scolded them without using a single vulgar word, but Lu Feng and Zhao Chuan were so mad that they wanted to vomit blood. The beauties surrounding them couldn't restrain themselves and burst into laughter. However, they feared this bee group in their heart, so they could only muffle their laughter and laugh in secret. Seeing their expressions didn't cool Lu Feng and Zhao Chuan down, but instead made them even angrier. Fuck, what an arrogant little scoundrel. Let me beat you into a pig head, and we'll see if you can be so arrogant again. The duo had never been scolded by anyone like this before in Normal University. Now they gave out loud battle cries and thrust their fists at Qin Feng. With a faint smile in his eyes, Qin Feng waved his 2 hands and precisely grabbed both of their fists. Then he gave a slight twist. Subtle bone-cracking sounds could be heard, followed by their miserable shrieks of ghostly cries and wolf-like howls. Stop it right there, ordered Gao Hu, who was standing on one side the whole time. With an icy-cold countenance, he strode toward Qin Feng. You little brat, if you still want to leave Normal University unharmed, then loosen your hands right now. As a descendant of a small family, the air around Gao Hu was different from that of an ordinary person. He stood in front of Qin Feng with his hands clasped behind his back, his sight swift and sharp, his air rampant and arrogant. He looked at Qin Feng as if Qin Feng were a mere ant, and every word of his was imperial edict. Once he opened his mouth, nobody would dare ignore him and could only follow his order. What if I refuse? Beat me if you can. If the air of Gao Hu was rampant and arrogant, then the air of Qin Feng now was arrogant and despotic. He, as the #1 young master in Acropolis City, wasn't really afraid of anyone's threats. And those who threatened Qin Feng before had vanished, along with their families, and couldn't be found in Acropolis City. Chapter 278. Chapter 278. How do you want to play? Stinking brat. I just saw the video of you fighting on Lover's Bridge, and I know you have a bit of skill. But there are many extraordinary people in this world, so don't think there's no one that can suppress you. Gao Hu wasn't so dumb as to go and teach Qin Feng a lesson because he knew he couldn't beat Qin Feng. He took the initiative to look for trouble with Qin Feng because of Lu Wenjing. However, he wasn't looking to fight Qin Feng one-on-one. He wanted to use his strengths to defeat Qin Feng. He wanted to compete with Qin Feng in basketball. Brat, first let go of my 2 men. I'm not looking to fight you. If you have the guts, compete with me in a round of basketball. If you lose, leave Lu Wenjing and don't ever get close to her again. If I see you harassing her again, though you have really good skills, I'll still find people to break your damn legs. A handsome person brimming with talent has to be prepared to constantly get challenged by people all through life. Qin Feng thought of himself as this kind of person, so in the face of Gao Hu's challenge, he gladly accepted it. But even if he didn't accept it, Lu Wenjing took the initiative to accept it for him. Gao Hu, I accept your basketball challenge on Qin Feng's behalf. When Lu Wenjing saw Gao Hu and his 2 men from her dorm room upstairs, she felt unsettled. When she saw Lu Feng and Zhao Chuan make a move on Qin Feng, she immediately raced downstairs. However, when she arrived downstairs, she saw that Qin Feng was completely fine. He stood among 100 flowers with a blissful expression and allowed the women do what they wanted with him. Then Lu Wenjing's worry dissipated completely and was replaced with anger at Qin Feng. She knew Gao Hu and his lackeys weren't good at much, but they were all really good at basketball. When Lu Wenjing saw that so many girls in her school liked him, she intended to embarrass Qin Feng once, so those girls would stop chasing him. However, Lu Wenjing didn't know why she had these thoughts and emotions. Very well. Then come with us to the basketball court right now and see how we clean you up, brat. Lu Wenjing accepted the challenge for Qin Feng, so Gao Hu was both angry and excited. He waved his large hand and left with his 2 lackeys. After the 3 left, Qin Feng looked at Lu Wenjing and complained, Jing, why did you accept the basketball challenge without my consent? Why couldn't I accept it? Unless you're afraid of losing? When Lu Wenjing saw Qin Feng's nervous expression, she knew he had to be afraid of losing to Gao Hu and his 2 men. Lu Wenjing did a little happy dance inside. Darn. So many beauties at normal university were beginning to like me, making my head hurt. And now you've given me an opportunity to show off my skills and outstanding abilities. I didn't even have a chance to be low-key. It's so difficult being a handsome and talented man like me. You're so shameless. The whole way, Qin Feng hugged Lu Wenjing, smiling. Lu Wenjing unexpectedly didn't resist. She even snuggled into Qin Feng's embrace and occasionally helped him wipe his sweat to show off the sweet and loving affection between them to the close to 100 girls behind him. Very quickly, the procession arrived majestically at the basketball court. When Gao Hu and his 2 lackeys saw Lu Wenjing and the close to 100 women following them, they are so shocked they almost fainted. Were they preparing for a basketball game or a beauty pageant? We're having a basketball game, right? Hurry and tell me how we're competing. Don't waste my time. After we're done, I have to bring my Jing to see the flowers and the moon. Hugging Lu Wenjing, Qin Feng arrived beside Gao Hu. Gao Hu saw how close the couple looked and angrily gritted his teeth. Qin Feng, let's play a half-court 3-on-3 and whoever gets 50 points first will win. Whoever loses will have to stay away from Lu Wenjing. No problem, Qin Feng readily agreed. However, once he finished speaking, his expression shifted slightly. He suddenly thought of an extremely severe problem. All the people that came with him were women, and of all the men at normal university, he had just beaten up half of them at Lover's Bridge. As for the other half, who knew where they were hiding and cursing at him, Qin Feng suddenly found that he had no one to bring to this 3-on-3 game. Haha, Qin Feng, our 3 are already here. Who are you bringing out on your side? I'll give you a minute. If you can't find someone, then compete by yourself. Before the game, Gao Hu realized Qin Feng's predicament. He saw Qin Feng's down expression and couldn't help but burst into laughter. Qin Feng, I'm willing to compete and lend a helping hand. Feng, though I don't know how to play basketball, I'm strong. When we play, I'll help one person. If he dares to steal the ball from you, then I'll pummel him to death. Feng, I wore a slip nightgown here. I can mesmerize them with my beauty. Let me compete. Qin Feng discovered the passion of normal university women. Now that he saw their brimming enthusiasm, he was about to cry. None of them could play basketball. There's no need for that. I don't need outside help to deal with you three. I've decided to compete alone, said Qin Feng through gritted teeth after he made his final decision. Because his back was toward the women, no one could see his raised head, his bitter smile, and him trying his best to hold in his tears. Haha, how arrogant. Then let's cut the crap and start the game. Gao Hu and his two men saw how Qin Feng was at a loss. When they saw him acting impressive, like he was really great, they all laughed uncontrollably. The four people now stood at the half-court line. Qin Feng stood alone on one side, and Gao Hu and his two men stood robust, tall, and sturdy on the other side. From the scene alone, there was a desolate feeling. Stinking brat, since you're competing on your own, your elder won't bully you. You can start with the ball first. Let's begin. Gao Hu tossed the basketball at Qin Feng. Qin Feng held the basketball, looked at it again, and looked at it again. Are you playing or not, brat? If you're afraid, it's not too late to admit defeat. Gao Hu lost his patience and wondered, don't tell me it's the first time this guy has seen a basketball? Roar. Qin Feng suddenly roared and rushed forward with the basketball in hand. He currently had Stage 3 external and Stage 2 internal abilities. If he went a little faster, he could attain 3 times a person's speed. If he stepped lighter on the ground, he'd disappear naturally. When Gao Hu and his two men regained their senses, Qin Feng had already arrived beneath the basketball hoop, leapt nimbly, grabbed the hoop, and performed a domineering slam dunk. Thump! The basketball fell to the ground with a dull thud. This sound was like thunder as it struck the hearts of Gao Hu and his men. At the same time, it fell into the hearts of the nearly 100 women weighing. It was tyrannical, bold and powerful, fast and nimble, natural and smooth. Qin Feng amazed the world with his brilliant feat. Earlier, everyone looked worried that he would lose the competition, but that worry was nowhere to be seen now. Not only does Qin Feng fight beautifully, who knew he was also so handsome playing basketball? He's so handsome that my heart is thumping uncontrollably like it's about to give out. Some of the surrounding army of women regained their senses, and in a wave of wild screaming and professions of love were heard. In turn, Gao Hu and his men came too. But after they saw Qin Feng's speed and agility and startling leap, they didn't look afraid as one might expect. Each of them suddenly clasped their stomachs and guffawed. That's right, they were laughing at Qin Feng. They convulsed with laughter and couldn't stop. Because the three of them noticed that Qin Feng didn't know how to play basketball. This brat grabbed the ball and ran a dozen steps up to the basketball hoop before doing a slam dunk. According to the 3 steps to a shot rule, Qin Feng had violated the rule of traveling. Gao Hu laughed until he was out of breath and shouted at Qin Feng, "Ha! Do you know how to play basketball, brat? You think your performance was really cool, don't you? You violated the rules. Hurry and bring the basketball over and stop squatting there and showing off." After Qin Feng finished his slam dunk, he maintained a cool, half-squat pose and basked in the screams and cheers of the army of women. Now that he heard Gao Hu's sudden words, he suddenly didn't feel so good. I broke the rules? Qin Feng stood and asked the crowd of nearly 100 girls. Among these love-struck women, quite a few of them came to basketball games to see the hot guys. Thus, they had a fairly good idea of the basic rules, and quite a few of them knew about the rule regarding traveling. Qin Feng saw around a dozen women look at him with flirtatious glances while nodding. Though he felt a bit helpless, Qin Feng could only toss the ball to Gao Hu. Qin Feng's first, handsome offense ended as a rule violation. Now that the basketball was in Gao Hu's hand, the lowly 3-man group began their first offensive moves. Gao Hu arrived at the 3-point line with the ball. He was tall, strong, and nimble, a born basketball player. Also, he was a first-string player of the basketball team and participated in basketball practice every day. His dribbling and shooting abilities were at a level that amateurs couldn't compare to. Your elder never bullies the few with many. Right now, my younger brothers don't need to help. Your elder challenges you to a one-on-one. See if you can steal the ball from me. Gao Hu bent over and dribbled the ball. Qin Feng stood facing him less than a meter away, but Gao Hu wasn't nervous or afraid at all. The ball seemed to come to life in his hands. No matter how he dribbled between his legs or behind him and what cool moves he did, he continued to stably bounce the basketball. He didn't need help from his two lackeys because Qin Feng didn't even know how to play basketball. He was intentionally provoking Qin Feng. He was forcing Qin Feng to steal the basketball from him because he knew that if Qin Feng came up to him, he had over 100 ways to mess with Qin Feng by dribbling. Then, after successfully doing so, he'd take a large step and score beautifully. Gao Hu wanted to ruthlessly humiliate Qin Feng in front of Lu Wenjing and all the female students. The impatient expression on his face said everything. Stinking brat, you still aren't coming to take my basketball? Don't tell me you're afraid of me, and you don't even have the courage to steal the ball? Haha, you really are a weakling. You're just a... Bang! Qin Feng suddenly extended a fist and punched Gao Hu's nose. Gao Hu yelped in pain, and fresh blood immediately sprayed from his nose. After the fist landed, Qin Feng grabbed the dropped basketball. After obtaining the ball, he mumbled to himself, "This guy is really annoying. It really wasn't easy stealing the ball from you. But now, this young master got the ball. What can you do about it?" Bang! The punch was too quick. The other people only reacted a good couple of seconds after Gao Hu fell to the ground, covered his nose, and cried in pain. Gao Hu's two lackeys were so frightened that they were as white as sheets. They immediately ran up to Qin Feng and glared fiendishly at him while yelling, "What are you doing, brat? Why did you punch him?" Punch him? I was stealing the ball. Can you not punch people when stealing the ball? Then how else would you steal it? Qin Feng looked innocently at the two, and they almost fainted in anger. After trying to calm themselves for who knew how long, Lu Feng came to his senses first and suddenly shouted, "Why you broke the rules, brat?" I broke the rules again? Basketball is really lame. You can't travel when shooting, you can't hit people when stealing the ball, then how do you play? Qin Feng complained. Chapter 279. Chapter 279. You're the cutest under heaven. Lu Feng and Zhao Chuan champed with rage. Even Gao Hu, who was rolling on the floor, forgot the pain after he heard Qin Feng's words. He quickly sprang up to continue the game. The first offense from both sides concluded with Qin Feng's foul. Now, Gao Hu was the starter. Fuck, this scoundrel dares to play dirty. We can't fight him head-on. Let's use tactic number 2. Dribbling the basketball, Gao Hu gestured at his two underlings. 3 of them were part of the university basketball team. Only they would understand the meaning of these signals. After Lu Feng and Zhao Chuan saw Gao Hu's gestures, both of them nodded their heads. This time, Gao Hu didn't try to get past Qin Feng to show off his skill. Qin Feng punched him earlier, and Gao Hu was afraid Qin Feng might punch him again. Every time he saw Qin Feng wave his fist at him, Gao Hu would pass the ball to one of his two underlings. 3 of them maintained a triangle formation, swiftly passing the ball to a teammate if Qin Feng tried to SNA the ball. After a few rounds, Qin Feng stopped moving around. He stood under the basketball hoop and looked at the trio indifferently. He realized they were playing him for a fool, like a monkey, and he was very mad about it. Seeing that Qin Feng stopped moving, triumphant smiles rose on the trio's faces. The basketball was in Gao Hu's hand. He was standing near the two subline, and he attempted to go for a shot. His shooting average at this distance was extremely high. He almost never failed. Shroom. Gao Hu jumped abruptly. He deliberately stopped in midair for a second and performed a cool fadeaway shot. Looking at the arc the basketball was flying, the corner of Gao Hu's mouth quirked even higher. He was certain that he would score the goal. Slap. The idea just popped out for a second, and a muffled sound echoed in the air. Qin Feng, who was standing under the basketball hoop, suddenly jumped into the air. It looked like a simple jump, but his head reached above the hoop. He then extended his arm and gave a pat at the basketball. The ball thrown by Gao, who was sent flying directly. Shroom. As soon as he landed, Qin Feng darted out like an arrow released from a bowstring, carrying a light breeze with him. Very soon, he caught up to the high-speed basketball. Both the 100-strong army of women and Lu Wenjing were flabbergasted. The Bi trio was so stunned that their jaws dropped to the floor. Starting from jumping and intercepting the basketball to sprinting and stealing the basketball, Qin Feng completed all of these within just the time it took to breathe. Amazed by his incredible jumping ability and his lightning bolt speed, everyone in the basketball court couldn't do anything but only stare at him with their mouths open wide. At midcourt, Qin Feng was standing straight like a pine. He seriously looked at the basketball on his hand. He kept looking at it over and over again. It was exactly the same as when he first started the game. Everyone's gazes were focused on Qin Feng. All of them couldn't fathom the man's thoughts or what was he scheming right now. It seemed like time had frozen, and only the sound of beating hearts from the crowd could be heard. All of them knew, before a supreme master made their move, they stood straight like a pine and remained silent like a bell. Some of them even would made some odd motions. This was what Qin Feng looked like right now. This could only mean one thing. He was preparing for a huge move. Earlier on, this army of women and the Bi trio had weighed the video of Qin Feng beating male students of Normal University at the Lover's Bridge. They were well aware that this youngster had some formidable skill. If he ever became serious, even if the huge move he released couldn't shatter the ground, at least he could break the backboard into pieces. It would be an earth-shattering and majestic sight. The 100-strong army of women had already pulled out their cell phones, preparing to record this peak moment. Ahem, ahem. In this hair-triggering, dignified, and solemn moment, Qin Feng suddenly cleared his throat. He had to do it because he was going to speak. Can anyone tell me the rules of a basketball game, so that I don't violate the rules again? Qin Feng was vexed, very, very vexed. As the #1 hedonist young master in Acropolis City, the sports he would play since he was young were either golfing at the big lawn or swimming at the big pool. Needless to say, rolling on a bed with a different woman every night was one of young Master Qin's favorite sports as well. Billiards, baseball, rugby, car racing, poker, mahjong. Qin Feng considered himself proficient in many sports since he was young. But when it came to a basketball game, he was totally clueless. This was because Qin Feng was spoiled and pampered since childhood. How could he possibly play a dangerous sport where he could easily get injured like basketball? He had always thought basketball was for losers. Yes, this was the first time Qin Feng touched a basketball, and the first time he played a basketball game in a basketball court. Although he had an incredible jumping ability and lightning bolt speed, but he didn't even know the basic rules of basketball. He couldn't understand it. I can't travel when dribbling. I can't punch people when snaying the ball. Then how do you play basketball? Qin Feng couldn't figure it out by himself. So he looked at the 100-strong army of women to get some help from them. It was hard for the crowd to recover from Qin Feng's question. They felt Qin Feng was too cool. He dared to accept the challenge from the Bi trio when he didn't know how to play basketball. Where could you still find a person with such perseverance, who had the courage and spirit to break through the limits of oneself in current society? Feng, playing basketball is easy. You don't need to move when you get the ball. Just throwing the ball into the basket will do. A sweet and charming female voice resounded in the silent basketball court. Someone from the audience hastily answered Qin Feng's question. Shroom. As soon as the girl finished speaking, Qin Feng jumped abruptly. He held the basketball single-handedly and casually threw it. The basketball drew a perfect arc in the air and dropped into the basket without a high. Swoosh. It was a swish shot. It's just like this? Basketball is so easy. Qin Feng grumbled after he scored a goal. After a short silence, the basketball court exploded with screaming and cheering that could startle the universe and move the gods. It was said that a woman was comparable to 200 ducks. Now the 100-strong army of women were like a flock of 20,000 ducks. Now there were 20,000 ducks gathered around the basketball court, quacking and chirping non-stop. The sight was disastrous and frightening. Qin Feng was so alarmed that he had to cover his ears with his hands. Fuck, is this little brat playing with us? Lu Feng's jaw was still on the floor. No way, this little brat is a sharpshooter. Zhao Chuan's eyes were as big as saucers, wide enough that his eyeballs might drop down any time. Only Gao Hu had a cold expression on his face. After seeing Qin Feng score a half-court shot, he was so mad that he almost devoured his own teeth. What are you two yelling for? This little brat doesn't even know how to play basketball. This is his first time touching a basketball. Do you guys believe that he can really score a half-court shot? It's just an incredible stroke of luck. What's so surprising? This kind of incident often happens in NBA's last-minute kill. Now, pick up the pace. If we lose this, then we won't have the face to stay in normal university anymore. Yes. Big brother is right. It's just pure luck for this little brat. I don't believe he'll be blessed by the goddess of fortune for the whole day. Next time, I won't give him a single chance to shoot the ball. Lu Feng and Zhao Chuan regained their fighting spirit after receiving a word or two from Gao Hu. It was Qin Feng's score just now, so now it was his turn to be the starter. B Trio, your grandpa, me, knows how to play basketball now. Starting from now, the three of you don't even have a single chance to touch the ball, said Qin Feng. Once he got the ball, the BE trio started to surround him. Qin Feng was totally unaffected and cast a gleeful smile at them. You're the BE trio. Don't fucking simply give me a nickname. Gao Hu rolled his eyes in fury. Don't you think this nickname is cool? It took me a long time to come up with this nickname. Qin Feng seemingly ignored the angry expressions on the trio's faces and said unhurriedly, You guys ever watch the drama? Chinese Paladin 3, right? It's so majestic and has the air of a celestial being. All the characters cultivate the way of the sword. All of them are handsome, elegant, and full of confidence. I see the three of you cultivating the way of the B** guy as well. Although the way of cultivation is different, but at least they've the same homophone. So I think the name, B Trio, suits the airs and attitude of you three very well. Are you guys really sure you don't want to use this nickname? Are you through, you little brat? I've come here for a game, not to quarrel with you. Gao Hu pressed on his chest. He felt like a mouthful of blood was trapped in it. That half-court shot of yours earlier was just a fluke. Starting from now, I won't give you a single chance to touch the ball. And you still want to score a goal? Haha. You're so Gila. Gao Hu was so mad that he could laugh. It was just that before he could finish his mocking laughter, he felt a light breeze blow in front of him. Qin Feng mustered all his strength and leaped forward. He was like a soaring eagle, and within a blink of an eye, he was standing on Gao Hu's head. Qin Feng stood on Gao Hu's head using only one leg. His other leg dangled in the midair, and he maintained the free and easy pose like a golden chicken standing on one leg. He then lightly threw the basketball in his hand. Swoosh! The basketball passed through the net without touching the rim. Without a doubt, it was another swish shot. B Trio, the luck that you guys said is like this? Qin Feng dismounted after he'd scored the goal. He gave an innocent and pure smile at the trio. 3 people and 6 eyes stared fixedly at Qin Feng, but none of them could utter any words. Ever since they joined the university basketball team, it was they who bullied others all the time on this basketball court. When had they ever been bullied? All 3 of them had hundreds of different curse words and styles to mock their opponent. Now that they had 3 people, they had 300 styles. However, after seeing Qin Feng score 2 half-court swish shots single-handedly, the BE trio thought it was superfluous to say anything more, because it would be like slapping their own faces. The Ma wasn't over yet. It had just begun. Starting from this moment, the 100-strong army of women at the sidelines was agitated. This was the first time they'd seen a confident, humorous man like Qin Feng. He was handsome, had good fighting skills, was a sharpshooter, and had a down-to-earth attitude. This type of man was a natural-born magnificent lover. He was renowned as the #1 hedonist young master in Acropolis City and was a seducer sage not only in name but also in reality. Fong Fong, Fong Fong, little Fong Fong, I love you. Let's go for a movie and dinner date after you finish your game. After weighing a movie, I'll let you do whatever you want of me. Fong, I don't need you to take me to dinner or a movie. If you want it right now, I can do it at the basketball court. Lu Wenjing had regrets. She hated herself deeply. Why had she accepted the challenge raised by the Bi trio against Qin Feng? Why was it that every time she wanted to get revenge on Qin Feng, it ended with him stealing the show? Lu Wenjing was very sad. This wasn't her original plan. She longed for Qin Feng's loss and his loss of his face in front of hundreds of women. Could it be that the words were true? If a woman didn't dress provocatively, she wasn't sexy. If a man wasn't lowly, he wasn't cute. If this was the standard to define the cuteness of a man, then even Lu Wenjing would acknowledge in her heart, Qin Feng was the cutest under the heavens. Chapter 280. Chapter 280. Slicing open with one slash. Afterward, it was no longer an evenly made basketball game. It was solely Qin Feng's shooting performance. Once he knew that he would win the instant he got the ball and shot it, he knew that the results of the game was no longer cause for surprise. The power in his jumps was so startling that it made the Bi trio reverent. His shooting was 100% accurate, and it was a swish every time. He jumped and shot with one hand, stood in place and shot with one hand, and shot from half court with his back to the basket. When he was bored, he'd shoot by bouncing the ball on the floor, and when he was tired, he'd shoot while squatting. Tired from squatting, he'd shoot while sitting, and tired from sitting, he'd shoot while lying on the floor. However, no matter how he shot, he'd always score. In the beginning, the Bi trio did all they could to intercept the ball or disturb Qin Feng when shooting. In the end, they covered their eyes. They really didn't want to face such humiliation. Swish. This time, Qin Feng shot with his toes and made a swish. Oh, I made 48 points without knowing it. If I make another shot, our competition will be over and you three will have lost. Qin Feng walked up to the Bi trio with a smile. The three of them lowered their heads and said nothing. If they said anything now, it would equate to getting another slap from Qin Feng. They were already afraid of Qin Feng and regretted challenging this abnormal monster in basketball. It's okay if you guys don't talk, but after losing, keep your promise and don't bother Lu Wenjing again. If I find out that you did, I'll break your arms and legs. Qin Feng held the basketball, and his smiling expression suddenly became glacial. The air around the Bi trio turned cold, and gusts of wintry air made them unable to breathe. Then I'm going to make this last shot. After talking trash, Qin Feng suddenly laughed. He didn't even look at the hoop and lightly lifted one hand. The basketball handsomely headed toward the basket. Whoosh! Everyone's gazes congregated on this one ball. It was a shot that could end the game, and immediately end the Bi trio's legend of invincibility in basketball. Smack! A dull noise suddenly came from the basketball court. The ball Qin Feng had thrown was smacked away by someone. This was a tall and handsome man. He wore a white robe and held a wooden folding fan. No one knew where he came from, but he blocked Qin Feng's shot. Haha, who knew I'd be able to meet Prince Qin here? Say, isn't this destiny? Sima too casually walked toward Qin Feng as if he hadn't hit the basketball off course earlier. Amazement flashed in Qin Feng's eyes. He hadn't expected to encounter Sima too here. When the Hao family fell into trouble, this guy went off the radar. Now that he suddenly appeared and came at him personally, Qin Feng was a bit alarmed. So it's Prince Sima. It's destiny indeed. A vulgar smile arose on Qin Feng's face. This was the expression a hedonistic young master should have. Prince Sima, you jumped really high at first and startled me. I didn't even see where you came from, and you already landed on the ground. Qin Feng's smile intensified. In the past, before he had the hedonist sovereign system, he never fought Sima Tuesday. He hadn't known about cultivation and hidden experts outside of society and the world. Now that Qin Feng encountered these things, he began to dip his toes into this world. He found that Sima Tu was also a martial cultivator, and from his simple interception, it was clear that Sima Tu wasn't weak. Haha, I only displayed slight skill in the face of an expert. Compared to Prince Qin, I'm nothing. Sima Tu waved with a smile. You seem to be in the middle of a game? Nice. I usually like playing basketball as exercise. How about letting me join? Since Prince Qin is so amazing, you naturally don't need help. Then I'll join that three-man group. Why don't we use 1 point to decide on the victor? Once Sima Tu suddenly appeared, he looked to be picking a fight. Qin Feng hesitated a bit. Seeing that Qin Feng didn't respond, Sima Tu continued with a smile. There's no need to be worried, Prince Qin. I just haven't seen you in so long. So now that I've had the good fortune of meeting you again on a basketball court and seeing you play, I wanted to join in and play with you. Consider it a deepening of our many years of friendship. Haha, just thinking about playing basketball with Prince Sima sounds fun. How could I not agree? Then let's begin. Qin Feng's gaze swept over the sidelines of the court. Uncle Qi stood very conspicuously in his gray wrap among the army of women. The instant Qin Feng saw Uncle Qi, he agreed to Sima Tu's addition to the competition. He knew that Sima Tu came prepared today, so if he didn't agree, he wouldn't be able to leave. Prince Qin is indeed refreshing. Then let's begin. Since we have more people, you start with the ball first. Sima Tu waved his large hand, sending his wooden fan flying. It landed accurately in Uncle Qi's hand. He tapped his foot lightly and immediately arrived beside the basketball that was countless meters away. Then, he kicked the basketball, which flew toward Qin Feng like an apparition. Gasp! When the nearly 100 women saw this, they all gave startled gasps. Lu Wenjing squeezed her hands tightly together in worry for Qin Feng. She was a smart woman, and she could already tell that Qin Feng and that man in the white robe had some conflict between them. Prince Sima's soccer skills really are amazing. If China sent you to participate in the World Cup, our team would be qualified to compete. Fierceness flitted through Qin Feng's face and quickly disappeared. He quickly turned and dodged the flying basketball. Then, he did a backflip and moved quicker than the flying basketball. He didn't allow the ball to continue on its path, but did a bicycle kick, sending the ball back. Swish! The basketball sliced through the air and flew toward Sima Tu's head. Sima Tu's lips quirked as he stood motionless in place and allowed the basketball to rush at him. Whoosh! Sima Tu squatted into a horse stance and fiercely shot both of his hands forward. The air around him seemed to disperse, producing a surging sound. The flying basketball suddenly stopped and spun in place half a meter from Sima Tuesday. An inner chi expert. Qin Feng's eyes widened and his heart leapt. He hadn't thought Sima Tu would be an inner chi expert. It wasn't hard to tell from the power that shot out of Sima Tu's body that he had just achieved stage 4 inner chi. The chi on his body was robust but not sturdy enough. It was very similar to that of the provincial capital's Liang family's Liang Zhenwei. However, it wasn't as strong as Liang Zhenwei's chi. Qin Feng recently killed Liang Zhenwei outside the Zhao family villa, and his abilities improved vastly since. Thus, after seeing Sima Tu's abilities, Qin Feng was no longer that nervous. Whether it be the Bi trio or the army of women, all of them looked on, stunned. The Bi trio was going to join forces with Sima Tu to deal with Qin Feng, but once they saw the scene before them, they felt extraneous on the court. Bang! A dull sound was heard. The energy on the basketball was completely eliminated by Sima Tuesday. It was completely under his control, and he smacked the ball back at Qin Feng. Sima Tu's hands didn't touch the basketball, but an invisible chi flow passed from his hand to the ball, and Sima Tu manipulated the chi flow to control the ball. A stage 4 inner chi expert was familiar with controlling chi, so the basketball took on a new life in Sima Tu's hands. It bounced nimbly at his feet. The rhythm and agility made even the Bee trio gasp continuously in shock. Prince Qin, I'm going to attack. You better be ready. Sima too got closer and closer to Qin Feng, and the mirth he hid in his eyes became stronger and stronger. Sima too suddenly jumped up and prepared to shoot. Qin Feng leapt up as well and jumped a head higher than Sima too, blocking Sima too's line of sight. Sima too's hands moved, but not in a motion to shoot the ball. He slashed toward Qin Feng's chest with his previously empty hands that now held daggers that looked like both light and fog and gleamed with blue light. Slash! The daggers landed, but they didn't cut Qin Feng's chest. They fell on a pair of hard gloves exuding white, wintry air and produced an ear-splitting scrape. Sima too's and Qin Feng's eyes twinkled radiantly. The two of them looked amazed. Clang! With one slash, the two men quickly separated and landed at the same time. Qin Feng glanced at the light blue daggers Sima too held, then lowered his head to look at the gloves on his hands. There was a long, thin gash on one of the gloves, which were incomparably hard and wrought from winter iron that was 1,000 years old. The winter iron gloves were split, a long gash appearing on the knuckles of the glove. If Qin Feng hadn't seen it personally, he wouldn't have believed it. Who knew how many experts he'd killed with the winter iron gloves? At the time, when facing bronze number 8 of the Golden Assassin crew and his 41 kilograms Green Dragon Crescent Moonblade, Qin Feng blocked it with a simple punch. Now, the gloves were easily cut open by the blue blade in Sima too's hand. What kind of weapon was it? Qin Feng quickly recounted the weapon grades: Sovereign, Gold Grade, Purple Grade, Blue Grade, Orange Grade, and White Grade. Could it be that the daggers with blue light were Blue Grade equipment? Even Qin Feng didn't have one of those. Haha, Prince Qin, you are hiding quite a few treasures on your body. Sima too suddenly laughed, sounding a bit fake. He'd seen Qin Feng with an Orange Grade Spirit Whip on Lover's Bridge, and hadn't expected the guy to also have a pair of White Grade gloves. If the gloves hadn't suddenly appeared, Sima too was certain he'd have sliced Qin Feng's chest. Though he didn't plan on actually killing Qin Feng with one slash, it wouldn't be bad to leave a gash. Who? Qin Feng and Sima too's first exchange ended with a spark. After the two landed on the ground and spoke with one another, everyone else regained their senses. They hadn't clearly seen what exactly happened, but they had heard the ear-splitting scrape on the iron gloves and seen Qin Feng and Sima too jump higher than the height of a person. These things alone made them scream with anger. Qin Feng was angry, extremely angry. His winter iron gloves were something he obtained from Williams after putting his life at stake on Coiled Snake Mountain. Now that the glove on his left hand was sliced open by Sima too, he felt that this person was too unkind. Weren't they friends who usually called one another brothers? And hadn't they always gone to high-end clubs to pick up girls and chat them up? Weren't they collectively known as Acropolis City's four princes? When they saw one another, shouldn't they make small talk, sit down to drink coffee, talk about the beauties they played with recently, and share the artistic videos they filmed of themselves? You sliced this young master's glove once you showed up. Don't you know that wearing these gloves while masturbating is very stimulating? Chapter 281. Chapter 281. How dare you steal this young master's woman? Shroom. Qin Feng suddenly moved. He released the weight of the flying dragon armor and instantly reached 7x the speed of an ordinary person. He sprinted as fast as a lightning bolt, casting an afterimage in everybody's sight. Even Sima too's eyes were filled with amazement. Sima too was preoccupied for just an instant, and Qin Feng had already snatched the basketball from his hand. After getting the ball, without any hesitation or pause, he jumped and shot. Qin Feng injected a strong qi into the basketball. When he threw the ball, It darted like a sharp arrow released from a bowstring, breaking the airstream around it, and a slight explosion could be heard from the path it traveled. Thump! The ball reached the basket, but the appealing swish couldn't be heard. Ever since Sima 2 made his appearance, Qin Feng no longer could score a perfect shot, and this was the second time he missed. The basketball was struck by a pebble-like small object. It deviated from its original course and smashed on the backboard. "What a shame, Prince Qin. You were so close," said Sima 2 with a bright smile on his face. As soon as he finished talking, he rushed out and arrived beside the basketball right away. Once again, Sima 2 dribbled basketball and charged at Qin Feng. However, he slowed down when he was near Qin Feng and yelled to Gao Hu, who was dazed on one side. "You, come here. Help me by guarding Qin Feng." Although Gao Hu regained his senses, he still had a stunned look on his face. He was a young master from a small family clan in Acropolis City. Normally, it was he who ordered other people. However, when he was ordered by Sima 2, he didn't feel even the slightest resentment or resistance in his heart. He could sense an aura of supremacy from Sima 2's day. His aura was so intense that it pressured Gao Hu until he couldn't breathe. Gao Hu felt he was worthless in front of Sima 2, who was like an emperor standing high above the masses. Every word of his was an imperial edict, and Gao Hu just needed to obey. Sima 2 was dribbling the basketball in place, while Gao Hu rushed in front of Qin Feng, preparing to execute a screen and role play with Sima 2's day. Qin Feng suddenly felt something was off. As soon as this bad premonition popped up, Sima 2, with a mirth in his eyes, pounced on him. "Prince Qin, I'm going for a shot. Can you block my attack this time?" Sima 2 flickered again, his speed as fast as lightning. Qin Feng quickly defended himself. Both of them jumped at the same time. However, Qin Feng was still a head higher than Sima 2's day. Unlike before, Sima 2 didn't shoot the ball or attack Qin Feng with the Malus Azure Wing Blades. Instead, he sent a palm strike at Gao Hu, who had jumped at the same time they did. Unable to parry his attack, Gao Hu was sent flying directly. Thump! Gao Hu hit on the floor heavily, blood gushing from his mouth. He pressed his hand to his stomach and writhed in agony on the floor. Qin Feng and Sima 2 landed at the same time. Qin Feng's dashing eyebrows furrowed tightly. Sima 2, on the other hand, had a gentle, warm smile on his face. He had come prepared when he proactively asked for a basketball game with Qin Feng. The Sima family had qualms about the Qin family's power. Although he was not allowed to kill Qin Feng on the spot, he didn't expect doing something to him would pose a big problem. Originally, Sima 2 planned to stab Qin Feng with the Malus Azure Wing Blades, then passed the stabbing off as an accidental injury during the basketball game. He never imagined that his attack would be parried by Qin Feng's winter iron gloves. So he changed his strategy, asked Gao Hu to come over and injure him with a palm strike, so Qin Feng would be the scapegoat. At the same time, Uncle Qi, who was standing at the sidelines, had already gotten behind Lu Wenjing. He was waiting for Sima 2's signal, and then he would knock Lu Wenjing out and bring her away. This was Sima 2's plan: wound Qin Feng to show off his strength and supremacy, then find a quiet place and enjoy Lu Wenjing's body to further humiliate Qin Feng. How can he be Acropolis City's #1 young master? For what reason is he one of Acropolis City's 4 princes? In Sima 2's eyes, Qin Feng was nothing. Sima 2 swayed plans too quickly, making it hard to guard against. Qin Feng's expression turned grave. "Haha, I say, Prince Qin, you really don't know how to play a basketball? How can you break the rules over and over again? This time, you even heavily wounded that little brother." Wait a second. Aren't this little brother a descendant of Acropolis City's Gao family? No wonder you look so familiar. Ayaya, this will be big trouble now. Although the Gao family is just a small family clan in Acropolis City and their power isn't as great as Prince Qin's Qin family, if the Gao family learns it was Prince Qin who intentionally heavily wounded their eldest grandson in a basketball game, I bet they won't take this matter lying down. Prince Qin, You and I have known each other for a long time, but this time, you've gone too far. I can't ignore my conscience to speak up for you. Sima too stood with his hands clasped, his white robe fluttering in the wind. The whole situation seemed to be under his control. Only his gentle and warm laughter could be heard in the basketball court. Qin Feng frowned deeply, his brain racing to come up with a strategy to counter Sima Tuesday. On the other hand, Gao Hu lying on the floor had a lot of things to say, but he was in too much pain to speak. Only now did he realize the identities of Qin Feng and Sima Tuesday. To his surprise, these guys were two of Acropolis City's 4 princes. Gao Hu finally understood his position today, a mere pawn for Sima Tu to use against Qin Feng. Bang! Qin Feng suddenly moved. He went directly in front of Gao Hu and gave him a heavy stomp. Gao Hu vomited another 2 mouthfuls of blood. Everyone was dumbstruck by Qin Feng's abruptness. Even the confident Sima Tu was at a complete loss. Originally, everything was going smoothly, according to his plan. He was even prepared to cast a meaningful glance at Uncle Qi. He would swagger off after Uncle Qi brought Lu Wenjing away, and then the plan for today would be completed perfectly. However, Qin Feng suddenly stomped on Gao Hu before so many eyes. This stomp was a variable that instantly shattered Sima Tu's calm and unflustered mind, and upset his plan for today. Jing Jing, come here fast. Qin Feng continued to stomp on Gao Hu. At the same time as he violently stomped on Gao Hu, he yelled at Lu Wenjing. Lu Wenjing quickly rushed to Qin Feng's side. Although she still held some resentment for Qin Feng in her heart and was sullen after Qin Feng had stolen the show and caused the bunch of girls to exclaim over him, she also felt danger approaching. So she rushed to Qin Feng's side at her best speed, because she felt safe only when Qin Feng was around her. Without the slightest hesitation, Qin Feng quickly embraced Lu Wenjing into his arms as soon as she reached his side. Then he spun his body and mercilessly stomped on Gao Hu twice. Fuck you. How dare you try to lay your filthy hands on this young Master Qin's woman? I think you're tired of living. Jing Jing, don't be scared. I, young Master Qin, am here. Whoever dares to lay a finger on you in Acropolis City, I'll fucking break that little brat's legs. Things were changing too fast for Sima Tu to handle. When he regained his composure, he knew he was too late. His plan for today had failed. His original plan was to heavily wounded Gao Hu during their basketball game and lay the blame on Qin Feng. But now the situation was different. It became Gao Hu stealing Qin Feng's woman, and Qin Feng's ferocious beating of Gao Hu was right. This was because young Master Qin was that kind of person. He had destroyed other families for less reason than a woman. How had the Hao family, one of the 4 major families in Acropolis City, and the Yu family, the leading criminal family of Jincheng City, fallen? Either of these families was far more powerful than the Gao family. Qin Feng wasn't afraid even of them. What could a mere Gao family do to him? Should he beat Gao Hu to death in front of everybody, the Gao family wouldn't even dare to seek trouble for Qin Feng afterward. Instead, they'd have to put on a smiley face and help Qin Feng shrug off his crime. Who let this Gao Hu have no eyes to dare to lay a finger on young Master Qin's woman? Bang! Sima Tu's face turned grim. He gave Gao Hu a hard kick, trying to release all his pent-fire rage on this little brat. Fuck. So it was you who dared to lay a finger on Prince Qin's woman. Don't you know that bottom line of Prince Qin is almost non-existent? His only bottom line is his own woman. Bang bang. Bang bang bang. Using all their strength, Qin Feng and Sima Tu sent a few hard kicks at Gao Hu. Both of them were kicking and at the same time yelling at each other. Even though they were kicking Gao Hu and scolding Gao Hu, only the two of them understood the reality. Qin Feng, please stop. He's dying. Lu Wenjing couldn't keep silent anymore. She almost couldn't recognize the bloody, battered person as Gao Hu. She was afraid that if they continued to kick him like this, Qin Feng might actually kill this man. Hee hee, since my woman had spoken, then this young master will spare your life today. If you dare to lay a finger on my woman again, I'll annihilate your entire Gao family. Qin Feng suppressed his rage, pasted a smile on his face, looked at Sima too, and said, "Prince Sima, I would like to convey my gratitude for your help in lecturing this little brat. For you to teach a lesson to a small creature like him will really sully your image." It's fine. This person dared to entertain filthy thoughts of Prince Qin's woman. It'd be light if I didn't chop his limbs off. What's our relationship? Please don't be so courteous with me, laughed Sima too as he waved his hand. Prince Sima indeed knows me well. I, Qin Feng, am not interested in other things. The only thing I care about is my woman. If anyone dares to lay a finger on my woman, I'll kill him and annihilate his entire family. I, Qin Feng, have always been faithful to and cherished my women. Even if a good friend like Prince Sima were to have such a filthy thought, I swear, I won't let you off easily. The atmosphere suddenly dropped below zero. Qin Feng and Sima too looked fixedly at each other, their eyes gleaming with an icy cold aura. Haha, of course, the last sentence was a joke. Prince Sima and I share a deep friendship. I expect you won't do such an unruly and monstrous thing. Qin Feng suddenly laughed. Am I right, Prince Sima? Of course, of course. How would I lay my hands on Prince Qin's woman? Oh yeah, I have some important tasks to do. I should excuse myself now. Next time, let's invite Zhou Kai and Hao Yun for a get-together. It has been a long time since we, the four princes of Acropolis City, have assembled. Oh, yeah. What a forgetful person I am. I forgot the Hao family was destroyed by someone previously. Hey, the four of us will never have another chance to get together for the rest of our lives. I shouldn't speak any longer. I'll excuse myself now. After Sima too took his leave, Uncle Qi, who was standing at the sidelines, followed him and left quietly. Qin Feng left as well. He dragged along Lu Wenjing and left Normal University at once. All the male students in this university were secretly trying to seize the opportunity to get revenge on him. On the other hand, all the female students blatantly confessed and offered their kisses to him. They even tried to molest him. Qin Feng really didn't have the courage to stay in this university any longer. Qin Feng, release me right now. Where are you taking me to? I want to go home. After they exited the university, Lu Wenjing forcibly shook off Qin Feng's arms and eyed him warily. It was almost evening now and the sky was darkening. Lu Wenjing didn't dare to stay with Qin Feng any longer. Otherwise, she would really become this big bad wolf's bed partner tonight. Jing, please follow me to a place, then give me 10 minutes. I'm going to resolve all the conflicts between us. Qin Feng stepped forward and grabbed Lu Wenjing. This time, his expression was much more solemn. After he'd exchanged blows with Sima too, Qin Feng realized there were a lot of martial artists in this world. Even in Acropolis City, there was a person among his peers and Sima family who was a stage 4 Qi master. Then, how about those of his peers from the major families in the capital? What would their level of strength be? Qin Feng thought about the Qin family's competition 10 months from now at the provincial capital, the mystery of his mother's origin, and then his enemies. Qin Feng felt he should clear his quests faster and improve his strength as soon as possible. Where are you taking me to? Lu Wenjing couldn't break free of Qin Feng's grip. So, she could only look at him carefully. Fei Tian Bar. What? You're taking me to Fei Tian Bar. I don't want to go to a bar. I want to go home. Let go of me right now. Otherwise, I'll yell and accuse you of harassment. Lu Wenjing was so afraid that her little heart thumped wildly. She knew Qin Feng wasn't a good person, and she firmly believed that Qin Feng was a super-duper, peerless big bad wolf. Now that the big bad wolf wanted to take her to a bar, Lu Wenjing imagined her miserable and painful treatment tonight. She'd rather die than follow Qin Feng. Seeing Lu Wenjing going on a huff again, Qin Feng wasn't in the mood to play with her at the moment. He immediately hoisted Lu Wenjing onto his shoulder and rushed to Fei Tian Bar, ignoring her punches and kicks. When they arrived at Fei Tian Bar, it was already 7 o'clock in the evening, the time the bar got busy. Lu Wenjing was lying over Qin Feng's shoulder, those two long legs of hers kicking all the way from Normal University's front gate until Fei Tian Bar. Even Qin Feng had to mutter in his heart, "Will this lass ever get tired?" "Qin Feng, you're a beast. Pervert. Sex demon. You're shameless, vulgar, and you don't even have a B** thole." Lu Wenjing had been struggling and cursing along the way. She had already scolded the 18 generations of Qin Feng's ancestors. "I say, Jing Jing, I'm fine if you say I'm shameless and vulgar, or have a low personality, but then how do you even know I don't have a butthole? Could it be you've seen it before?" Qin Feng replied gleefully and gave Lu Wenjing's booty a light pat. Lu Wenjing was so angry that she almost went mad. However, no matter how heavy she thumped him, Qin Feng didn't feel any pain at all. Instead, he had a contented expression as if he was enjoying a massage, just like a dead pig that didn't fear the heat of boiling water. "We've reached finally. You lass are really heavy. You should lose some weight now." Qin Feng brought Lu Wenjing to the manager office in the very depths of this bar. "You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.